Very good afternoon, everybody. On this fourth day of our presentations, students are making presentations on Victorian literature. And in this afternoon session, we have these topics. Let me share a screen to have a look at the topics of the presenters. Okay, so first, SHATAKSHI will start on themes of importance of being earnest. Now, title, still there are errors in the title. Importance of being earnest, capital I should be there. So themes apostrophe S is visible. So that all needs to be rectified. And a better way, I think yesterday also we suggested, when you talk about themes, use the word thematic study. A thematic study. Put a title, the importance of being earnest, colon, space, a thematic study. I don't know when again the day will come where I will be happy to say કે ચલો આજે બધા જ title બરાબર લખાણા છે. એ ચોથા સેમેસ્ટર સુધી આવે તોય મને વાંધો નથી. I have patience enough. એટલી ધીરજ છે કે ચોથા સેમેસ્ટરમાં તમે ડેઝર્ટેશનના ટોપિક લખો ત્યારે આ કેવું ન પડે તો પણ સારું, પણ મને ખબર છે કેવું પડશે. થર્ડ સેમેસ્ટરના ચોથામાં હમણાં આવશે એટલે એ જ રામાયણ પાછી શરૂ કરવી પડશે. હાઉ ટુ રાઇટ અ પ્રોપર ટાઇટલ. Sagar will make a presentation on gender roles and subversions in Oscar Wilde's The Importance of Being Earnest. Nikita will make it on Alfred Lord Tennyson, a Victorian poet and poetry. There is no need of a comma there. Alfred Tennyson also is good enough. If you replace Lord, it is fine. KRISHNA's presentation, Robert Browning as a poet, RAJDEEP's on redefining heroism, Ulysses and the evolution of ambition in the 21st century. TANVI's will be on thematic study of hard times. Hard times it is. So be careful about the topic here. SHRUTI will make it on education, rote learning versus critical thinking in hard times and contemporary education. ROZMIN will be making on the role of education in Victorian age as depicted in hard times. MANASI will be on Dickens' hard times, the lost childhood. NISHTHAs will be on thematic study of hard times for these times. Okay. Rutvi's will be on the role of education in hard times and its critique of Victorian pedagogy. Smruti's will be on dehumanized by facts, a study of utilitarian philosophy in Dickens's hard times. SHRUTI will make on Marxist elements in hard times. Mita's will be on Sue Bridehead, a complex character in Jude the Obscure. Jude the Obscure should be in single inverted comma. And the last one will be by Nirali on Thomas Hardy.
This is my personal information, table of content. Duty and respectability. The Aristotelic Victorian value, duty and responsibility. Above all else, Earnest as a determined and serious desire to do the correct thing was at the top of the code of conduct. Appearance was everything and style was much more important than abstinence. So will a personal lead a secret life, carry on affairs within a marriage or have children outside, or of a wedlock, society would look of the other way. Life a carry on affairs with marriage and or have children outside of a wedlock, society would look of the other way. As long as the appearance of a property was maintained. For this reason, Wilde questioned for whether the more important of a serious issue of the day are overlooked in favor of a trivial concern about appearance. Gwadlin is the paragon of this value. Her marriage proposal must be performed correctly, and her brother give a practice correct. Proposal Gwadlin's Aristotelic attitude is in matters of or gave. Important style, not a sincerity in the vital thing. The trivial is important, the serious is overlooked. The tea ceremony in the Act 2 is hilarious example of a Wilde's. The connection that manners of the appearance are everything that guise of a correctness in the framework for war. Both women are thinking are engaged to. The same person wage a civilized war. Over the tea service will the servant silently watch. When Gwadlin request no sugar, Cecily adds a 4 lump to her cup, although she asked to bread and butter. Supposedly cannot hear a detestable girl, Gwadlin. She is also applied to find that Cecily is a living in checks, country home, and the inquire about a chaperone. Wilde give example again and again of the aristocrats' concern of the property. That everything is done properly, no matter what those good manners might be common plaguing. Next, the absence of a companion. Two areas in which the Victorian show little sympathy or compassion were lines and death. When Lady Bracknell heard that Bun died after his doctor told him he could not live, she is feels he has in dying act appropriately because he had the correct medical advice. Liens of any kind is hardly a thing to be encouraged in the other. Health is in their primary duty of life. Lady Brantwell, like other aristocrats, is too busy worrying about her one life and advantage of her daughter marriage, and her newfound errors in a judgment to feel any compassion for others. Godling, learning from the mother, is a totally self-absorbed and defined about what she wants. She is tells Cecily, I never travel without any diary. One should have something sensation to read the train. While seems to be taking to a task, a social class that think only itself, showing a little compassion for sympathy for the trials of those less fortunate. Religion. Another seriously subject, religion, is also topic of a satire. Will concerns of the text world would be appropriate. Topic for a people of this world, it seems to be a show assigned in the Victorian era. Cannot casual is the symbol of a religion thought. And Wilde uses him to show how little in a Victorian concern themselves with attitudes reflecting religion faith. Casual can a research stun, marry, buried, and encourage at the movements notice with interchangeable. Sums feel the meaningless pilitudes. Even Lady Brankwell mentioned that Christians are the waste of a time and especially money. Casuals, a precious exteriors betrays a rising plus of this for misprison. Were I fortunate enough to be misprison pupil, I would hang upon her lips, quickly correcting her errors. Minister hides. His friendly, holy desires in the language of a metaphor. Wilde's satire her is a gentleman and humorous, changing a society for his self-importance. Popular culture. The popular attitudes on the day about the French, literary criticism and book are also subject of a wild humor. Wild witty asserts of the Victorians believe in that nothing good comes for a France except for in the oceanal lesbian of mind. Otherwise, France is a good place to kill off her request of a burial of Earnest. As the god revenge say, I fear that hardly points to any every serious state of mind at the last. Literary criticism is for people who haven't been at a university. They do not do it so well in the daily papers. Modern books are filled with thoughts that are never pure or simple, and second yearless books should be read, but definitely is a secret. Again, Wilde criticized the Victorian for believing the appearance is a much more important than truth. He takes the opportunity in insert many examples of popular throughout the revealing base, social biography, thoughtlessness, and blind assumptions. Secret lives. Because Victorian norms were so responsive and suffocating, Wilde creates an episode in which his characters live secret or create false impression to express who they really are. Jack and Algernon both create personal to be a free. These other lives alone allow them is a neglect their duties. In Algernon case, or to leave their duties of a purpose pleasure. In Jack's case, very early in Act 1, Wilde sets up this secret slave and then act. When Jack and Algernon realize that marriage will end this pursuit of the pleasure, they both admit the rather earnestly. You won't be able to run down to the country quite so often as you used to do, dear ugly, and you won't be able to despair to London quite so frequently as your wicked customs was. Marriage means the end of freedom, pleasure, weakness, and the beginning of duty, and the doing what expected source. Jack and Algernon could continue to don their mask after Mary Godley and Cecily, but they will have not be casuation make sure society is a looking it's the other way. Passion and morality. Wilde's connection that a wool word extends spirits of the Victorian manners and the appearance is a demonstrated in the Grillish musings of the Sicily. When she hears that Jack Wicked brother Earnest is around, she is instantly this source of the meeting him. She says to Algernon, I hope you have not been leading a double life, pretending to be a wicked and being really good all that time. Throughout the meeting, someone lives outside of the bound of a purview of the rules exciting to native Sicily, even using the name Honest for is a secret life of ironic, because Algernon is not being default earnest in the living a secret life. Various characters in the play allude of the passion, sex, and moral looseness, and a choosable of a prism fitting and coded conversation about a thing sexual. Algernon stuffing his face of a satisfying is a hunger, and this dies and Miss Prism 3 volume. Novel are all examples of an inner life covered up by suffocating rules. Even Algernon's aesthetic life of a posing as the dandy, dressing with a study care, neglecting his bills, being unemployed and purging pleasure instead duty is an example of a Victorian's values of tribals. Once again, Algernon marry his will have suffocating rules of appearance to keep up. Wilde's character allude to another life of a life of a Mary Helvig's suffocating rules of appearance to keep up. Wilde character alluding another's beneath. This surface of a Victorian courtliness. Much of the humor is the play. Draws a fine is a.
There are many slides here. Everything that you will be there in your presence.
Sorry, sir.
Come to conclusion. You are reading everything. You have many slides. You are reading everything word by word. Skip the slides and come to conclusion. You have taken more than 12 minutes.
So now conclusion. The conclusion of the importance of being earnest ties together the play themes with the resolution of the mistaken identities and the revelation of a true identification. Ultimately, the characters find happiness and upliftment not by conforming the societal expectations, but by embracing these true selves. The play suggested that his pursuits of love and personal happiness should be free from the concerns of the societal judgment, and that being earnest in both name of a character requires balance and secretly of the humors. While the message is the wild society way of a demand seriousness and a conformity. There is a value in the breaking free from these norms and find joy in the absurdity of life, love, and identity. So there is my reference. Thank you. If you any question, ask me.
You will reply in the comment. They will ask in the comment. Type your answer in the comment.
Yes, sir.
Yes. કોઈ ગુજરાતીમાં સમજાવો. ભણાવતા હશે ત્યારે ક્યાં જતું હશે બધું. Okay, you get ready for this, okay? Sagar. So don't in your presentations it was very heavy with text. Lots of textual thing you have given, and we know that this kind of things we can find easily from internet, or AI can keep on generating all these things. So you need to add some photographs also. Images also can be generated with the help of AI, and you need to have a combination of text plus image on your slides. Reading everything very lengthy one is not the purpose of presenting the things. Your citations also have this papers, owl, and e-notes. We are suggesting that avoid citing from study material sites. So this way, these are all study material sites, papers, owl, or e-notes. So that should be avoided in doing this. And if you compare or do something, then we can understand you have understood the concept or not. Otherwise, we can't see whether you are able to understand the concept or not. Reply to the questions in the comment. When they ask, you reply to that.
Good afternoon, everyone. Myself, Sagar BOKADIYA. Today I am Today my presentation topic is Gender Role and Subversion in Oscar Wilde, the importance of being earnest. This is my personal information. This is the table of content. About author. Oscar Wilde was a renowned Irish wit poet and dramatist. His fame largely stemmed from his only novel, The Picture of Dorian Gray, and his celebrated comedy, Lady Windermere Hen and The Importance of Being Earnest. A master of epigram, Wilde became a leading figure in the late 18th century aesthetic movement which championed art for art's sake. However, his life was marred by legal controversies surrounding his homosexuality, resulting in imprisonment. Despite his socialistic downfall, Wilde remains an enduring icon of wit and sophistication. Introduction. The Importance of Being Earnest, play in 3 acts by Oscar Wilde, performed in 1895 and published in 1899. A satire of a Victorian society, hypocrisy. The wit play in considered Wilde's greatest dramatic achievement. Jack Worthing lives in a countryside with his ward, Cecily. He presents to have a troublesome brother, Ernest, as an excuse to visit London. Jack loves Gwendolen, who believes his name is Earnest, but her mother, Lady Bracknell, disapproves because Jack is an orphan found in a handbag. Algernon pretends to be Earnest to meet Cecily, who falls for him. In the end, Jack learns he is Lady Bracknell's nephew. His real name is Ernest, and Algernon is his brother. The play ends with both couples happily engaged. Gender expectation in a Victorian society. Victorians believed that a woman's proper and only place was to be within a household environment. The women were expected to marry, have children, and keep a nice household. Those were the only expectable roles for women during that era. Men's role expected to be rational, dominant, and a provider, seen as a leader in both public and private life. Women's roles expected to be submissive, emotional, focus on the home. Marriage was their primary goal and a symbol of stability. Subversion of female roles. Cecily, imaginative and rebellious. Cecily challenged Victorian idea of woman as a passive and submissive. Create a fictional engagement with Ernest, showing her control over her own romantic narrative. Create a intelligence. Keep a diary where she documents her thought and plans to publish it. Indicted her independent mind. Representation of the new woman. Cecily is bold, well-read, and potentially imaginative, embodying trend associated with a progressive Victorian woman. Power dynamics in the relationship. Importance of Being Earnest by Oscar Wilde portrayed power dynamics in relationship through satire, highlight the superficiality and hypocrisy of Victorian society. Wilde's use of a satire evident in the way he exposed their societal hypocrisy, the character obsession with names and social status is a scene in a Gwendolen infusion with the name Ernest, mock the tribal concern that govern a personal relationship in a Victorian society. The play resolution where Jack's true identity as Ernest revealed further satirized the arbitrary nature of social convention and the power of dynamics they create. Wilde critic and modern revealer. Satire of Victorian gender norms challenge rigid rules for men and women, highlight the performative nature of gender and social expectation, progressive portrayal of women. Gwendolen and Cecily assert the independence and reject passivity, representing the new woman. Lady Bracknell dominate role critique male authority by reversing traditional rules. Themes still relevant today. Question for gender equality, individual agency, and social labels remain significant. Conclusion. Oscar Wilde, The Importance of Being Earnest, critique Victorian gender role through humor and role relevance. Characters like Gwendolen, Cecily, and Lady Bracknell challenge traditional norms, showcasing independence and authority. while portrayal of gender as a performance highlight the absurdity of a societal expectation. This is my work site. Thank you, everyone.
So my question for you, Sagar, what were the gender roles for women in Victorian society?
Give answer in YouTube. Women were expected to marry, have a children, and manage household. Seen as a submissive, emotional, and focused on the home.
So, what is the main critic of Victorian society in the play?
The play critic Victorian gender roles, norms, and social hypocrisy, using humor to expose the supernity and regretted social expectation. Thank you, everyone.
Hello everyone. Good afternoon. Today is my topic about the Alfred Lord Tennyson, Victorian poet and poetry. First is personal information, table of content, and introduction. We know all about the Alfred Lord Tennyson, famous for he's a poet laureate. So, Lord Tennyson was a prominent Victorian poet, renowned for his lyrical and dramatic work that explore themes of love, loss, faith, and social change. Appointed poet laureate of the United Kingdom in 1850. He became the voice of the nation during significant historical events, including the Crimean War and the death of Prince Albert. So, Tennyson's poetry, marked by its emotional depth and musicality, bridged the romantic and modern eras, addressing both personal struggle and broader societal issues. His famous works, including In Memoriam, also talk about In Memoriam, the Charge of the Light Bridge, and Idylls of the King. Solidify his place as one of the most influential poets of the 19th century. Next one is about Alfred Lord Tennyson. Alfred Lord Tennyson was born at Spy Rectory in Lincolnshire on the 6th of August 1809, the son of the revered George Clayton Tennyson. He early showed a love of poetry, and when little more than 18 years old, found a publisher for volume of poems written in connection with his brother. So this poetic fight was prominently followed by others, including in 1829 a college prize poem on the subject of Timbuktu. We know about the Timbuktu, most famous work written by Tennyson. These early poems are smooth and pleasant. Good boys verses far better than most production of the kind. So, Tennyson and Victorian age. How to connect Tennyson with Victorian age? Victorian age was very criticized at the beginning of the 20th century and started appreciate much later after destructive wars that have second the principles and ideas of the Western civilizations. A very important change has taken in the 19th century. While before the aristocracy had a primal role in shaping on the political and cultural life of the country with the rapid development in industry, the importance shift to a different class, the middle class of men of profession, factory owners and tradesmen. If it is spoken about Victorian moral and attitudes, one must think that is it is the middle class referred to neither the aristocracy nor the lower class. The Victorians were deeply influenced by the utilitarianism. The theory regarded the both intellectual and moral shape and concentrate on the improving the morals. Its idea were pity, briefty, and restraint, and silence on all sexual matter. From the intellectual's point of view, altruism cherished honesty, earnestness, dedication to the truth, and emphasis on duty. So, background of Eddas. So, major works Eddas, the of the king. This is the most famous work. One of the Tennyson's significant work. Eddas of the king is a connection of a poem that adapt Arthurian legend to convey Victorian ideals. It explore theme of duty, love, sin, and redemption, often recruiting on the moral dilemmas and societal expectation of the time. Second one is hope and doubt. This it is a theme. So, Tennyson's poetry often grapples with Victorian anxieties such as the impact of scientific advancements like Browning's theory of evolutions. While his work, expressed doubt about faith and the future, they also emphasize hope and the enduring power of the belief. So, Christianity and its value. So, Christianity and morality is a poetry. Alfred Tennyson poetry reflects a deep engagement with the Christian values. Portrayed characters who struggle with sin and redemptions. Idylls of the king uses the fall of the Camelot as an allegory for moral decay, drawing parallels to biblical story. So, woman, love and sin. So, role of woman Tennyson's portrayal of the woman in his poetry often aligns with Victorian's idea. So we can see the woman's role of women in the Victorian time. So characters like and represent idealized Victorian womanhood, while figure like symbolize the consciousness of the straying from these ideas. So, burden of duty and fame. So, um, burden and fame of duty. Tennyson's become a public figure, appointed as the poet laureate. So, his poetry reflects the tension between personal desire and public responsibility, a common theme in Victorian literature. So, next one is a major works. So, it's all major works written by Alfred Lord Tennyson. First in Memoriam. So, in Memoriam, original title is the Way of Soul, and the written in 1849 and published 1850. So, in this work, in this poem, 131 canto, and it is a long poem. Its form is iambic pentameter, and its point of view is the first person, and setting in England. So, in memoriam written by Tennyson, in memoriam he talk about the and talk about his friend Arthur Henry Helen. So, after his friend died, he written this long poem. So, another is Idylls of the King. Early I discussed about, and Ulysses 1833, revised 1842. The Charge of the Light Bridge. So, it's published 1854. The Lady of Shalott is published 1832, revised 1842. The Brook 1886, Luxley Hall 1835, The Princess 1847, The Charge of the Light Bridge 1854. So, legacy of Alfred Lord Tennyson was the leading poet of the Victorian age. Also, I add, the mid 19th century had come to keep a position similar to that Alexander Pope in the 18th century. So, Tennyson was a consummate the poetic artist, consolidating and refining the traditions bequeathed to him by his predecessors in the Romantic movement, especially Wordsworth, Byron, and Keats. So, his poetry is remarkable for its metrical variety, rich descriptive imagery, and explicit verbal melodies. But Tennyson was also regarded as the preeminent spokesman for the educated middle class Englishman in moral and religious outlook, and in political and social consciousness, no less than in matter of the taste and sentiment. So, continue. A more balanced estimate of Tennyson has begun to prevail. However, with the recognitions of the enduring greatness of Ulysses, the most famous work Ulysses, the unique poignancy of Tennyson's best lyric poems, and above all the statues of In Memoriam. I talk about In Memoriam as the greatest representative poem of the Victorian age. It is now also recognized that the realistic and comic aspect of the Tennyson's work are more important than they were thought to be during the period of the reaction against him. Finally, the perceptions of the poet's ebbed sense of the mystery of life, which lies at the heart of his greatness, is an crossing the bar or a flower in the cranial wall, unites his admirers in his century, which those in the last. So, conclusion. In conclusion, Alfred Lord Tennyson's stand as the one of the most significant figure in Victorian literature, also known. So, shaping the era's poetic landscape with the profound explorations of the themes like faith, doubt, love, loss, heroism, and societal change. His ability to blend emotional depth with lyrical mastery made him not only a voice of his time but also a poet whose works continue to resonate today. Uh, Whether capturing the grief and hope of In Memoriam, memorializing bravery in the charge of the Light Bridge, or delving into complex social issue in The Princess. So, in The Princess, he delving into complex social issue. So, Tennyson's poetry reflects the intellectuals and emotional struggle of the Victorian era. His legacy endures through the timeless relevance of his poetry, making him an enduring constituent of English literary history. So, these are my references, and thank you.
Also reply to comments in the this comment only if you reply. Very long lots of time you have taken more than 10-12 minutes.
Okay, sir.
Okay, next.
So, hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss about Robert Browning as a poet. So, let's begin. It's my personal information, and then we're starting from the introduction of Browning. So Robert Browning was born in 1812 to 1889. He was a great romantic poet, a great poet of English literature, and he was a playwright also. He was when he was 21 years old, so that time he's starting to enter in literary career. And when he first time he write one novel, The Pauline, and that was a starting of the his career as a literary. So he was influenced by Shakespeare, William Shakespeare, and Lord Byron. He was also married with Elizabeth Barrett Browning in 1846. And Elizabeth Barrett Browning, she also won as a writer. So his life was included in literary partner. And we can say that Browning was also known for his dramatic monologue and special psychological depth. So then key features of Browning's poetry. First, his dramatic monologue. So first question is that what is a monologue? Monologue is a Greek word. Mono means alone, and long means to speak. So monologues, when dramatic monologue is used in any poetry, so that time one person only speak in the whole poetry, and drama, and all other we can say other characters also mentioned in the in work, but only one character speak and other listen. So his dramatic monologues try to reflect psychological depth and emotions, and we can say his inner struggle. So he used the dramatic monologue in his works. Then psychological depth. He used the psychological depth for we can say his psychological depth first. So he very known for his psychological depth, and he used the try to create a we can say morality and emotions and inner struggle. He used the also dramatic monologues and psychological depth in poetry, and he used its thing his features for create become a voice of inner mind person, and he inner mind person can reveal his we can say his hidden desire and inner struggle and his morality. Then innovative language and style. Brownings also used the dramatic tone in the dramatic monologues, and he used the vivid imagery in this work. And when he write his poetry, so that time he used also innovative language, means we can say layers language. That means when any reader read his poetry, so that time he reader can reader can think in multiply meaning. So it's also very attractive and good features for Brownings. Its notable works of Brownings. First is My Last Duchess, a classical complex, a dramatic monologue exploring theme of control, jealousy, and power. So My Last Duchess was first published in 1842, and it's very interesting poem. It's very long poem, and in this poem we see the summary. So one king, his name is Dunk, and he he all story is explained through only one character, and he is a dunk. So dunk is said about his wife, and his wife killed by dunk, because her behavior is so good, and he all easily include in everyone. So his good behavior don't like dunk, so he killed her. And this whole story is say by dunk to one person, he person come for arrangement to drunk's new marriage. So it's all story said by Dunk, and it's very interesting. So it's describe the theme of psychological depth and jealousy, power, and control. And we also know, we can say that use of Duncan is a use of power wrong. He used the wrong his power use. So its power and corrupt theme also is reflect in this uh, work. And we can say that Uma Shankar Joshi's Nishith, it's also we can compare with my last lectures. Its theme also I think same. The Ring and the Book is the second work, and it's also very long, because it's divided in the 12 book, and when he published, so it's published in 4 volume. The Ring and the Book was published in I think of 1848, and it's a long narrative poem presenting a murder trial from multiple perspectives, showcasing browsing skill in portraying various viewpoints. It's based on 17th century's 18 Italian. It's case on Italian, and it's based on 17th century Italian murder case, and it's a real event. So in this poem, one person, his name is Guido, and Guido, all story is surrounding to Guido, and Guido is a all people say that Guido is a, murderer of his wife and her parents. So and it's also it's very interesting thing about the Ring and the Book, that it's written in verse novel. It's also poem, but it's written in verse novel. So we can, it's a structure like we can compare with Manvini Bhavai, written by Panalal Patel in Gujarati literature. And it's also poems themes is we can compare with Vishwadarshan of Uma Shankar Joshi, and the paper of Hamlin, a narrative poem based on the famous legend known for its rhythmic charm and moral lesson. The paper of Hamlin, if I say about Hamlin's story, so Hamlin is one place, and so many lots of red is come in Hamlin, and all people want to run away and away from red. So for his Hamlin's one leader, he announced the prize for this difficulty. So one man is come and say that I will ready to done this work. So he ring one magical flute, and during and when he ring a flute, so that time all rats is come toward his man, and he go towards river, and all rat is down in the river and died. So when he man say that give my prize, so Hamlin's leader is don't give a prize. So that time he person a person that we can say try to take a revenge from a Hamlin person. So he again ring a flute, and it's now all children of a Hamlin place attract towards this person, and now he go towards one mountain, and then in the end all children is we can say unseen. So in the end all Hamlin's people very sad, because all people of Hamlin lost his child. So it's a describe the theme of we can say it's a describe the theme of revenge and result of our unhonesty. Men and women.
We have already talked 10 minutes. So this is only few slides. There are still 13, total 13 slides. We will read this, then we have already completed 1 hour. This is only 4%. So conclude your lecture. Already 8 minutes you are given.
Okay,
This is only 11th minute going on, and you are not even halfway. Okay.
okay, sir.
So
I'll
come to the concluding slide.
Okay. So last is a man and woman. It's not not a poem name, but it's also one collection of poem. In this poem, 51 poem is included in this, and is published in 1855. So a collection of poem that explore the dynamics of love, identity, and human interaction. Then themes of poetry of Browning's first love and obsession.
Go on. Now you talk already about thieves. Come to conclusion.
So, Robert Browning is one of the most influential Victorian poets, known for his innovative use of dramatic monologue. His keen psychological insight explore the complexity of love, obsession, morality, and corruption. With a complex language and a deep emotional exploration, his works challenge the engaged readers. Browning's legacy as a pioneer of modern poetry and master of character-driven narratives continue to shape literary history, resonating with the audience even today. So it's my reference, and thank you. If you have any questions, so please ask me. Okay, thank you.
Before we gets ready, I have shared today morning about the blog also. The group Ulysses, group email regarding creating a professional and academic blog. So in this course, so actually we have seen the presentation, then SAGAR presentation. Now, see, if you do AI to prepare a presentation, it will prepare you within 2 minutes. But how you understand that, how you connect that with your understanding, how you connect with the relevance in our time, without that, it is of no use. Already lots of material is available online. So that only, if you keep on reading and presenting, that it doesn't serve the purpose. In SAGAR, you need to add some images also. Many of the students are making good images. You can make images with the help of AI. Relevant images, not automatically generated in the AI, not those images. Like in the last one, there are people sitting with computers. Now, in the age of crowding, there are computers. So what is the computer even doing in Victorian? It is already relevant. So that is generated by AI, but we as a human being has to apply our sense and see that why computer in Browning's time. Browning was not using computer, neither computers were invented in the Victorian era. So that is where the human being apply our critical thinking. In my presentation, if I analyze, then what problem I find in my picture, my slides, AI will prepare it. But I have my own critical ability to judge, give one slide, remove other slides, change images, that I have to do in that. So, and then you read, if you keep on reading, then it doesn't serve any purpose. Also, even the time also you keep on crossing. So that also was there in Krishna's presentation, that we find that lots of things remain irrelevant as such. NIKITA also was considered a very long one. Now we also want to review your blogs simultaneously. So this was Sagar's blog. First, SHATAKSHI, I am not able to open your blog. This error is coming there. You can see on the screen. On the screen. So this way, if it will come, it will not open. So you get an idea that when you post the link, if it will be a wrong link, it will come like this. Then we will not be able to open. So everybody can see this, that when we will evaluate your activities, it will come, they will have to send you a message, and then you may be worried about your internal exam, and then in between we will ask you to do this work. So you may also be uncomfortable. But if you have been very careful about sharing the links, then there is no problem. But if you make error, then things will go wrong also. So this you correct the link, so I can check your. This is in hard times. In hard times, what I am checking this. So Sagar's blog. Now you can still make this. There is a gray color of the font. So make it dark color, black color. Font. Font size needs to be increased also. Make it a little bit larger. If you see in the various fonts, then you may find that when you are working on PC or laptop, or when you are working on your browser in a mobile phone, if you will work on the browser, then settings will come. If you work on application of a mobile, then you can't see all the settings. Then always what I am telling you, you can't do it. These are the errors because you might have posted in mobile phone. So browser you have to use, and you have to change this. Here you will see font. Keep it large font. Large will be better. So large font setting. This is for not only Sagar but everybody also. Those who do not have a properly decently looking blog, then you have to see decent. Then font, the default font you can keep, so it will be good default font, and this you can do that. When you put a title, like for example, this is a title here, then that should be like major heading. If it is a normal text, it is a very small text. So I have to change from here and make it a major heading. This kind of settings, it will automatically look professional if you use the setting things instead of infusing in your own manner. So this kind of edits you also have to do. Images you have given a hyperlink. The thing is mentioned is hyperlinks, like Wikipedia. When you read the thing, some links are given of keywords, dictionary words, other web resources. Digital writing becomes digital only if hyperlinks are given. Otherwise, there is no difference between writing pen and paper or doing this. It is one and the same. Because the handwritten things or typed and printed one is not clickable. Digital text is clickable. And if we don't use that feature of clickability or linking the thing, we don't know how to do digital writing. So when you do the blog, see maximum links, if you can give it, will be better in between the texts. And in that case, you will have to work also, because otherwise you are just putting generated text. તમે નહીં કરી શકો વાંચવું પડશે જવું પડશે એટલે થોડું મનોમંથન કરવું પડશે તમારે એટલે જે પેલું અહીંથી લગારામાં ભર્યું ને અહીંયા કર્યું એ કામ નહીં થઈ શકે when you will work on hypertext or hyperlinking the things there. Video also you can embed. Video resource also should be embedded along with this. This is Nikita's blog. Font, you have given some links there. Okay, so Charles Dickens, you have given the link of Spark Notes here. This is fine if you give study material links, there is no problem in that. Full text, I think in Spark Notes, is it a full novel available? You give a Spark Notes link, read the free full text. Then full summary. So maybe full text you will find a project. So that link you can give here for reading the book. So font still you can improve. The setting of the text, the paragraph setting, justify the paragraph. For example, here if you see this paragraph, this is not justified paragraph because on the left hand side I can see the straight line. On the right hand side it is not there, so I need to justify that from here, or this setting will help us in doing that. This text is not supported. Now in this case I have to push this button up to find and adjust this text. To do the justification of this way it should look. This text and the first paragraph is properly justified paragraph. Then larger font, some images, some videos, that all also you have to put here. Links are given, that is good. Try to make it in MLS style. Avoid putting 123helpme.com kind of references. Keep on avoiding this kinds of things. Then this is Krishna's blog. Color of the font you can keep it dark black instead of gray, so and increase the font size also, so the readability is better. Here you have justified the paragraph. You can see the paragraph is justified. The image is given, text and various things. It's large font only you need to do. Yes, some more images are there. Okay, fine. Some videos you can embed on this. Embedding a video, not linking the video, but embedding the video is what you can add to this also. Color and other things are fine. Design is discipline. It should be academic blog, so it should be of the same style. Yes, have you done SHATAKSHI? We'll come to that. We can have the next presentation. Yes, we can start.
So, very good afternoon, everyone. This is RAJDEEP and today I am going to present on the topic Redefining Heroism, Ulysses and the Evolution of Ambition in the 21st Century. These are my academic details and presentation details, table of contents, and introduction, Ulysses and heroism. So, Alfred Lord Tennyson's Ulysses explores timeless themes of ambition, existential longing, and heroism. Reflection of personal and resilience and leadership struggles in the face of mortality. So, the poem is a powerful meditation on heroism and ambition, and the search for meaning in the face of mortality, and connection to modern heroism of individualism versus societal responsibility. So, written shortly after the death of Tennyson's close friend Arthur Hallam, the poem reflects a deeply personal yet universal struggle. And Tennyson's poem represents a hero defying age and death to pursue meaning and ambition. So, Ulysses, the aged hero of a Homeric frame, grapple with stagnant existence as he yearns for adventure and fulfillment. And the poem resonates with contemporary struggles to balance personal fulfillment and ethical leadership, reflecting the universal human condition. So, his defiance of old age and death becomes as a metaphor for the human spirits of resilience. The poem also serves as a bridge between classical and modern heroism, embodying themes of individualism and leadership that resonates with a contemporary audience. As Ulysses famously called for action, to strive, to seek, and to find, and not to yield, encapsulates the essence of heroism across the eras, and challenging readers to explore the tension between personal ambition and societal duty. So here is my research question that how does Tennyson's Ulysses illustrate the transformation of heroism from classical ideals of glory to modern concepts of ambition and ethical responsibility, with the hypothesis that Tennyson's Ulysses redefines heroism by intertwining classical ambition with modern existential struggles, reflecting the evolving balance between personal fulfillment and societal responsibility in the 21st century. So Ulysses, the classical pursuit of glory. So the classical hero values action, legacy, and resistance to stagnation, rooted in Homer's Odyssey and Dante's Inferno. So Tennyson's Ulysses draws inspiration from Homer's Odyssey and Dante's Inferno, blending the classical hero's traits with Victorian sensibilities. And Ulysses lamenting his ideal kingship, as he declares, it little profits that an ideal king. So this emphasizes his disdain for stagnation, his relentless pursuit of knowledge and that transcends, mirrors the ambition of Homer's Odysseus and Dante's Ulysses. Ulysses. Ulysses seeks knowledge and transcendence and heroic achievement. As Robbins observes that Ulysses' defiance of age as a metaphor for resilience against mortality. So this highlights that Tennyson's Ulysses embodies the heroic spirit of defying age and mortality to seek greatness. Like Dante's Ulysses embodies ambition and an indomitable spirit. So this reinterpretation transforms the classical hero's quest for glory into a timeless metaphor for the human drive to achieve even in the face of life's inevitable limitations. Comparing classical and modern heroism. So the portrayal of Ulysses offers a lens through which to compare classical heroism and modern concepts of heroism. So a shift from traditional heroism to complex, flawed anti-heroes in the modern era. And Ulysses' relentless ambition mirrors contemporary anti-heroes navigating inner conflicts and ethical dilemmas, ambiguities in ambition and societal obligations. So, in classical traditions, heroes like Ulysses epitomized ambition, glory, and resilience, often measured by their ability to overcome external challenges. However, in a modern context, heroism is frequently redefined to encompass internal conflicts, moral ambiguity, and complexities of societal obligations. As Tennyson writes that old age hath yet his honor and his toil. So this line highlights enduring human struggle. Tennyson captures this shift as Ulysses grapples with his alienation from the people of Ithaca and his responsibility is as a ruler. As O'Brien argues that Ulysses' alienation reflects the cost of heroic ambition. And he also observes that Ulysses' relentless ambition isolates him from society, illustrating the cost of adhering to the heroic archetype. And modern heroes often balance personal goals with a very broader social impact. So this evolution mirrors the rise of modern anti-heroes who embody vulnerability and imperfection while serving to reconcile personal desires with ethical considerations. The modern hero's journey. So Ulysses' voyage as a metaphor for the search for a meaning and legacy and exploration of mortality, aging, and existential courage. So Ulysses' journey is both literal and metaphorical, resonates with modern heroes' search for purpose. As a call to his mariners, come my friends, it is not too late to seek a newer world. So this line underscores a quest for meaning and transcendence that parallels contemporary narratives of self-actualization. Mitchell describes that Ulysses' voyage is symbolic of the act of dying and achieving transcendence. So this voyage is symbolic of the act of dying, where hero is confronts mortality while striving for a spiritual fulfillment. And modern heroes echo this journey, embracing self-discovery amidst challenges. So this duality of external exploration and internal recognition echoes the modern hero's journey, which often involves navigating existential questions and overcoming inner turmoil to achieve self-discovery. And then ambition, leadership, and 21st century heroism. So heroism in the 21st century reflects ethical complexities and global challenges. So in the 21st century, heroism reflects ethical complexity of ambition and leadership in a rapidly changing world. And Ulysses' declaration, "I am become a name," so captures his pursuit of legacy and recognition, even as it distances him from the familial and social responsibilities. Uh, Robinson and Mitchell highlights the existential takes of ambition relevant to today's leaders. So they emphasize that Ulysses' ambition is not escapist, but deeply rooted in the existential stakes of seeking meaning and overcoming the fear of mortality. And Ulysses' personal ambition parallels modern leadership and dilemmas. And heroes today, like Ulysses, navigate legacy building while addressing societal needs, and balance between personal and ambition and societal responsibility. So this timeless struggle parallels modern leadership and dilemmas, where individuals must balance personal ambition and legacy building with the needs and expectations of the communities they serve, and balancing fulfillment and responsibility. So tension between individual goals and ethical duties. So Tennyson's Ulysses delves into the tension between personal fulfillment and societal obligations, a theme that remains central to modern heroism. So Ulysses' journey represents both triumph and tragedy. Modern parallels with balancing ambition with social accountability. So Ulysses' decision to leave Ithaca reflects his refusal to succumb to passive old age, and yet it also raises a question about abdication of responsibilities to his family and kingdom, and Ulysses' alienation as the prize of ambition. So, as O'Brien points out that Ulysses' ambition, while heroic, alienates from others, highlighting the psychological costs of his pursuit. He resolves that made weak by time and fate, but strong in will, which symbolizes the ending human desires to strive for greatness despite limitations. And today's heroes face similar tensions in their quest for significance. And so, modern heroes similarly grapple with this tension, striving to achieve significance while also navigating the ethical consequences of their actions. And conclusion. So Ulysses is a timeless exploration of heroism, ambition, and human resilience. So Ulysses offers a timeless exploration of heroism, ambition, and the human condition, relevance of his quest in understanding modern heroism. So the poem's themes, often resilience and the search for meaning, continue to resonate in a contemporary context, inspiring readers to embrace courage in the face of life's challenges. As the enduring human spirits highlight to strive, to seek, to find, and not to yield. So this reflects universal struggles with identity, mortality, and purpose, and underscore the complexity of heroism, balancing personal legacy and societal responsibility. So Ulysses embodies the will to preserve against mortality, and Ulysses inspires modern audiences to embrace courage and resilience amidst life's challenges. So the poem underscores the complexity of ambition and societal responsibility. As Ulysses' quest for legacy mirrors the modern hero's journey to balance between in personal fulfillment and ethical obligations. And Tennyson's work remains a profound reflection on the enduring human spirit, challenging us all to strive, seek, and find meaning in our own lives. Here are my references. Okay, thank you, everyone. Any questions?
So my question is, how does Tennyson's depiction of Ulysses compare to Robert Browning's explorations of flawed, introspective characters in poems like My Last Days in terms of heroism and ambition?
So, Tennyson's Ulysses represents a heroic figure driven by ambition and a desire for a purpose. Even as he grapples with aging and with aging and his mortality. And while Robert Browning's characters, like Duke in My Last Duchess, are introspective and flawed, often showing selfishness and moral corruption. While Ulysses seeks meaning through action and exploration, Browning's characters reflect ambition through their control and manipulation, which highlights the darker sides of human nature. So though both poets explore the complexities of ambition, but from very different perspectives.
Question has yet not come, so you can reply on it. Okay, the next one can take the seat, and in between we can give a feedback also to this presentation. So in this presentation, you will see that the citations are given perfectly well. And what you all also, others are not getting full score in last two columns. You might have seen the rubric, and in last two columns you are not able to get, but Rajdeep is able to get full score in that. So why that happened? So whatever he is citing, it is cited in text also. So for example, if I want to check any of the citations, for example, Robbins is cited here. And if I search Robbins, it will lead me inside the presentation. So where on which slide Robbins is cited, that is given in parenthesis. These brackets are known as parenthesis. They are not brackets, but they are known as parenthesis. So in text citation is given in parenthesis, and then that R is written alphabetically at the end of the text in references. The same way, if I want to see the another one like Mitchell, if that is properly cited or not. So I see that in text also it is there. So the reference to that I can see. So that way there is a combination between in text citation and at the end of the text citation. In text and at the end of the text, both should be combining. What many of you are doing, you go to AI, generate the text, and then go to Gestor, pick up anything from Gestor and put 2-3 links there. Now those links has nothing to do with what you have cited. No paragraph is taken, no line is taken, no observations are taken from the article in there. That is how many of you are doing. So there is no link. You don't know where to put in text citation. If you have taken any material from article, then only you can do that. And that is what you have to do by using this articles and other things. So that is done in this. 1. Now, from here to improve, this time you are getting 100 out of 100, but next semester you won't get it. Because what improvement here is required is that when you refer to, for example, Robbins, then you have to say that Robbins in this article or this book argues this. Then this argues, what this person argues, what the other person argues. And then in the conclusion, you will say now what you have to say. That way you have to use resources. You have to stand on the arguments made by the critics. And then you have to make your argument. That's how they are supposed to be used. So only putting in text will not serve the purpose. But you have to bring in the debate that Robbins is saying this, Mitchell is arguing this, and then you come down to your conclusion. That is the right way of using these resources. That we will expect in second semester. So once you climb a small mountain, we take you to another mountain. એક ટેકરી ચડો પછી એટલે રાજદીપે આ ટેકરી ક્લાઇમ્બ કરી છે, બીજાએ હજી આ ટેકરી ચડવાની બાકી છે, મોટા ભાગનાને. એટલે એક ચડશો એટલે આગળનો પર્વત દેખાશે. હવે આ પર્વત ચડવાનો છે, એ ચડશો પછી ત્રીજું કહેશું કે હવે આ પર્વત ચડવાનો છે. So that way this is called research writing, writing for research. This એટલે એ PhD સુધી ચાલતું રહે. એક એક ટેકરી આવતી જાય જ્યાં સુધી PhD પૂરું ન થાય, માઉન્ટ એવરેસ્ટ ચડીને ઉતરી ન જાય ત્યાં સુધી આ રીતે નાની મોટી ટેકરીઓ ચડતી આવતી રહે. આ પૂરી ન થાય, એ પૂરું કરી લો પછી તમને બીજી ટેકરી દેખાય. ઘણી વખત એમ છે બસ આ કરી લીધું, બસ માય થિંગ્સ આર રેડી, એવરીથિંગ ઇઝ ઓકે એન્ડ આઈ સ્ટાર્ટ ટીચિંગ ઓલ્સો. પણ ના, હજી ટીચિંગ બાકી છે, હજી તો ઘણી ટેકરીઓ ચડવાની બાકી છે. માઉન્ટ એવરેસ્ટ હજી ચડવાનો બાકી છે. બટ વન્સ યુ રીચ ધેર વી ટેલ યુ. તમે અહીંયા પહોંચી જ ન શકો તો તમને આગળની ટેકરી કેમ બતાવવી? તમને ખ્યાલ જ ના આવે કે અમારે આગળ શું કરવાનું છે. That you don't, if you don't climb this. So this way you have to see. So there is a good example here for how in text and that can be done. In the blog also, Rajdeep's blog I have shared in WhatsApp also is what we are asking, that how you can write this blog. So it's a good idea. First paragraph is written. This blog is written as a task assigned. So the context is made. Why are you writing this? Which also everybody has to remember. તમે એ બ્લોગ શું કામ લખો છો, ક્લાસમાં 2-3 વખત યાદ કરાયું છે, પણ ત્યારે જેને કહેવાનું હોય એ એબસન્ટ હોય, અથવા વહેલા વયા ગયા હોય અથવા મોડા આવ્યા હોય. 3માંથી એક શક્યતા હોય કે જેને કહેવાનું હોય એ જ ગેરહાજર હોય. ત્યારે એટલે એ વાત ત્યાં સુધી પહોંચે નહીં અને સાંભળવું બધાને પડે પછી. Everybody has to listen that. So first context and then the link of that also is given. Okay, here you can see the blog of a teacher, the task that is given there. Table of content is a very good idea. So it is very easy to navigate. Table of content is given. So it becomes very easy to navigate to whichever part you want to go in this. So this also is a good idea. You can take the guidance from him, how the table of content is prepared. Then images are there, all the things. Videos are embedded also. Embedding of a video is being done. It is good that link also is given. Many times it happens that this video owners, they don't allow the embedded video to be played because they don't get ad revenue. શું કામ ના પાડે એમ્બેડિંગમાં? એ બંધ કરી દે ફીચર, કારણ કે અહીંયા તમે જોવો તો એડ ના આવે. એડ ના આવે એટલે રેવન્યુ ઓછી થાય, એમની એડવર્ટાઇઝમેન્ટ રેવન્યુ ન મળે. આ બધી ટેકરીઓ તો આપણે ક્યારે ચડશું? હજી આપણે યુટ્યુબ ચેનલ તો શરૂ કરી, યુટ્યુબ ચેનલને આપણે પેમેન્ટ મોડમાં લઈ જવાની હોય. કેટલા ઓછામાં ઓછા સબસ્ક્રાઈબર જોઈએ, પછી આપણું પેમેન્ટ શરૂ થાય, પછી આપણને પેલો સિલ્વર સ્ટાર મળે યુટ્યુબમાંથી, પછી ગોલ્ડન સ્ટાર મળે. આવો એકાદ આપણે વિદ્યાર્થીનો મળશે તો આપણે પણ શેર કરશું બધા સાથે કે અમારા વિદ્યાર્થીને સિલ્વર સ્ટાર યુટ્યુબમાંથી મળ્યો. જેને મળે એ બધા વેચતા હોય છે રીલ્સ બનાવીને. યુ માઇટ હેવ સીન કે જે લોકો યુટ્યુબર્સ હોય એમને મળે એટલે એની રીલ્સ બનાવે અને દે સેલિબ્રેટ કે આટલા યુઝર્સ થયા this. So we want you also to be there, to be there. પણ એના માટે એડ ન, એટલે ઘણી વખતે બંધ કરી દે. એટલે લિંક આપી હોય તો સારું થાય. It is easy for people to reach there. So and then the different color text is used in between. Light gray shade for some important quotes or important lines are also used in the gray shade. we suggested while watching the thing, watching this film, that કે એમને હિન્દી જે ગીતો છે એમાં થીમેટિકલી they are very important, એટલે તમે લખી સકો, લઈ સકો, તો તમારા બ્લોગમાં એ મૂકજો. So that way he has put this song also from the film that we have watched in the class, the play performance that we have seen in the Hindi. So that's also is good to see that all these things are put here in a proper order. And then further videos and other things are also given. So it has all the content, all that is required, and at the end there are references according to MLS style also. So if one person in our class can do, we all can do. એમાં કઈ બીજું તો હોય નહીં, એક કરી શકે તો બધા કરી શકે, કોઈ ન કરી શકે તો આપણને એમ થાય કે નહીં આ બધાને હજી બહુ શીખવાડવું પડશે, આ બધાને ન આવડે, વધારે પડતી અપેક્ષા રાખીએ છીએ, આવું બધું ન થાય આનાથી. પણ જો એક કરી શકે, it means everybody can do it. Then it is not a problem. If one can understand, then others can also understand the things there. So good. He started, and you can see the history also. First blog was written in July 22. Yes. And comparatively, lots of improvement has come. If you keep on doing regular things, you keep on improving. But constantly કામ કરતું રહેવું પડે તો improvement આવી શકે. So good. I think who has given this task? Vaidehi madam. So we can see here the context is clear, that who has given the task, what task was there, and how it was there. She also is our student only, and દરેક સ્ટુડન્ટ ને પણ કહેતા હોય કે when you want to teach something, you will have to do it also. એટલે તમારે કોઈને કહેવું હોય કે બ્લોગ લખો, તો તમારે બ્લોગ લખવો પડે. That also they have to do. પણ ઘણા બધા આપણા સ્ટુડન્ટ એવું નથી કરતા પાછા. એ પાછા ટીચર્સ બ્લોગ બનાવીને આપે એવું નથી કરતા. એ સલાહ સૂચન આપે કે કરો, તમે કરો, તમે કરો, અમે કઈ ન કરીએ. એવું એ તમારા મહિલા જ છે બધા. તમારે 2 વર્ષ જૂના છે, 4 વર્ષ જૂના છે, તમે એ જ કરશો. Because that is easy path. 3-4 સેમ્પલ હોય આપણે કોપી કરવાના, તો આપણે સહેલું સેમ્પલ કોપી કરીએ. So they don't do, they don't carry on the work. એમના ડિજિટલ પોર્ટફોલિયો હોય તો એને રેગ્યુલર અપડેટ કરવાનું પણ મૂકી દે પછી. I keep on doing that, but they don't do that. But then they become teachers also. But it's good કે ચલો એટલું કામ તો થયું, કોલેજથી શરૂ થઈ ગયું હોય કામ, તો પીજીમાં અમારે ઓછી મહેનત કરવી પડે. પણ તમારા બધાના ટીચરો બ્લોગર નહોતા કે આ રીતે યુજીમાં તમારી પાસે કામ નહોતા લેતા, એટલે બધાને એ ખબર નથી કે આ બધું. એટલે so it is new for most of you also. But good improvement from the first blog in July 22 to 24. It is a very well prepared blog with all the necessary content there. Okay, let us move on to
Hello everyone, this is TANVI MEHRA. Now I am going to discuss about thematic study of hard times by Charles Dickens. These are my personal information. Here is my research question. How does Charles Dickens critique industrialization and utilitarianism through the portrayal of themes such as education, class disparity, and emotional suppression in hard times? Hypothesis. In hard times, Charles Dickens critiques industrialization and utilitarianism by demonstrating how they empathized on materialism and rationality, dehumanization, individuals' perpetuation, class disparity, and stifles emotional and moral growth, as reflected in the flawed education system, rigid social structures, and the personal struggles of Charles' characters like Louisa Gradgrind and Stephen Blackpool. Introduction of Hard Times. Hard Times was published in 1854 and is set during the Industrial Revolution. It critiques the impact of industrialization, on society, particularly on education, class, and human relationships. The novel's key focus is on the importance of imagination, compassion, and individualism. Theme of utilitarianism. The novel critiques the philosophy of utilitarianism, which values the practically and efficiency over emotion and imagination. Thomas Gradgrind represents this system, focusing only on facts and denying the importance of feelings or creativity. Impact. The novel shows how this rigid approach harms individuals, especially children, as they are deprived of creativity and empathy. Theme of the humanizing effect on industrialization. Dickens highlights how industrialization reduced people to mere cogs in a machine. The factory system, as seen in the novel, leads to monotonous work and loss of individuality. Characters like Stephen Blackpool represents the struggles on the working class facing harsh conditions without regard for their personal views or well-being. Theme of social class and inequality. Summary. Dickens highlights the stark contrast between the rich and the poor, the working class. Characters like Stephen Blackpool shows the struggles of the poor. The Gradgrind family focus on wealth and social status. They represent the upper class. Theme of education and its failures. Mr. Gradgrind's system. It is the strict, rigid, and does not allow for creativity or critical thinking. Tom Gradgrind shows the consequences of being taught only facts. He becomes dishonest and unhappy. Message. Education should nurture creativity, empathy, and moral growth. Theme of the power of love and compassion. Summary. Despite the coldness of society, love and compassion are portrayed as important. Sissy Jupe, a character who values the emotions and imagination and whose kindness contrasts with Gradgrind's teaching. Message. Love and human connection are essential for a fulfilling life. Theme of the hypocrisy of society. Mr. Bounderby claims to be self-made but has a privileged background. Mrs. Sparsit, a woman who judges others but has her own flaws. Message. Society is filled with hypocrisy where appearance matter more than truth. In conclusion, Hard Times offers a critique of society during the Industrial Revolution. Dickens explores the consequences of ignoring emotions, the struggles of the working class, and the flaws in the education system. The novel suggests that balance between facts, feelings, and compassion is essential for the just and human society. These are my reference. So this was by my side. If you have any question, ask me.
So my question is, what does teach these boys and girls nothing but facts suggest about modern education?
Yes. It critiques education system that prioritizes role learning, neglecting creativity and emotional intelligence, which are essential for holistic development.
So my question for you: how does the hands in the mill wear mere shadows relate to modern labor practice?
It mirrors concern about workers being treated and replaceable and exploited in today's corporate and gig economics. Thank you so much. Hello everyone. Today I'm going to present education, rote learning versus critical thinking in hard times and contemporary education. So next, this is my personal information, table of contents, and introduction. So, Hard Times, written by Charles Dickens, he criticizes the educational system at that time. So, in Hard Times, Charles Dickens critique the education system of Victorian England, which was heavily influenced by the utilitarian ideas of James Key Shuttleworth and Key Shuttleworth believed in improving education for working class children by training teachers and focusing on practical knowledge. However, Dickens saw this approach as too rigid and focused only on facts, ignoring the importance of imagination and emotional in learning. It's set in the industrial town of Coketown, and the novel shows the negative effects of an education system that treats students like empty containers to be filled with facts. And Dickens argued that this system is dehumanizing, taking away creativity and personal growth. He contrasts this approach with the needs for a more balanced education that nurtures both the mind and in the heart. So here Dickens criticizes the education system. Education is important, but also emotional development is also important here. So through Hard Times, Dickens highlights the flaws of Victorian education reform, showing how they fail to recognize the full potential of students. So the novel remains relevant today as it rolls important question about the purpose of education and how it shapes individuals and society. So next, Dickens' vision for education. So here, cultivating intellect and heart and soul. So here, education we can see in this also Dickens' work that education is important, but also this emotional. Also, life lesson is also important. So Dickens believed that education should do more than just focus on intellectual achievement. It should also nurture the emotional and more side of students. So here this points is and balancing practical knowledge with moral and imaginative growth. So while Dickens understand that practical skills are important for every day, he also believes that education should include teaching moral values and encouraging creativity. So he thinks a good education should help students develop both practical abilities and the ability to think deeply. So act kindly and be imaginative. This way, people are better prepared to face life challenges in a smart and thoughtful way. Both all round. It means that life challenges also we have to define that also. So next, the critique of the Victorian model. So the Victorian education system shows in Hard Times through Mr. Great Grant's School of Facts was all about memorizing facts and focusing on practical, useful knowledge. Dickens criticizes this system because it ignores students as individuals with a feeling and personal growth needs. Instead, it turns students into robots. It's look like robots memorizing all information. It's not, but think properly in the specific topic. So you can understand and you can just understand this topic very clear. So next, advocating for a human and just society. So Dickens sees education as the foundation for creating a fair and caring society. He believes that if education helps people think critically, feel deeply, and act ethically, it can prepare them for more than just work. So next, criticism of rote learning and mechanical technique taking methods. So here we can see rote learning defined. So rote learning is a method of teaching where students simply memorize facts and information without really understanding. It's also today's time. We can see students only memorizing information and just for exam, and just for preparation, any other. So this memorizing is not important for, but also deeper meaning is also important here. So and next, mechanization of education. In hard times, we see how education becomes a mechanical through teachers like Mr. Chocom Child. So these teachers are good at teaching facts, but they don't know how to encourage creativity. So here criticize this. So and the next consequences highlighted. So the consequences of this kind of education are serious. It stops students from developing critical thinking and creativity because they are taught to only memorize and repeat facts. So this is and contemporary educational challenges. So here recognizing diverse learning capabilities. So both Dickens and Spencer, here Spencer and Dickens understood that not all students learn the same way. It also right that all students not learn same way. They believed education should recognize and adapt to different learning styles and abilities. So today we know that learning is not the same for everyone. So schools are using different method to meet the needs of all students. This include offering extra help for students with learning disabilities and also valuing different skills. So this is the main point. And then foundation of a progressive education. So progressive education is based on ideas promoted by Dickens and Spencer. It focuses on students being at the center of their learning, encouraging hands-on experiences and helping them develop critical thinking and creativity. So this is the main point of this foundation of a progressive education. Philosophical approach to education. Here, this principle offer a more complete way of looking at education instead of just focusing on gaining knowledge. They emphasize this developing a whole person who can succeed in a complex and changing world. So the goal is to create individuals who are not only knowledgeable but also wise people who can face personal and societal challenges with honesty, empathy, and creative thinking also. So by applying these ideas, education becomes a more than just a passing on facts. It becomes a process that helps people grow and transform into well-rounded individuals. So this is the main point. Education challenges we can see in the India education system faced significant challenges, including over emphasis on rote learning. It's almost most of the students try to this method and exam driven curriculum and colonial hangover in educational standards. So this is the philosophical approach to education and India's current India's also. Next, conclusion. In Hard Times and his speeches, Charles Dickens criticizes utilitarian education model of his era, Victorian's era, and arguing against a mechanistic approach that reduced learning to more fast accumulation. He advocates for a holistic education that values imagination, emotional intelligence, and human dignity. So this is the main part of this. And Charles Dickens criticizes, full of criticizes education system of at that time. So and also this movie, the principles and freedom writers, they both movie are connected through this Dickens work. So next, these are my references, and thank you. So if you have any question, please ask.
So, Shruti, my question is, what lessons can contemporary education learn from Dickens' critique of rote learning in hard times?
So, contemporary education can learn from Dickens' critique of rote learning in hard times by understanding the balance of facts, creativity, and the emotional development, and critical thinking. So, it's a main point that you cannot memorize. There is no need to memorize information, but also you can think twice and thrice on this topic and dive deeper into this. So this education can also students have to become all-rounded and also thoughtful individuals. So this is answer of this. Next.
So my question is, in what ways do current educational reforms aim to promote critical thinking over rote memorization?
So current changes in education aim to help students think critically by focusing on active creativity, also then questioning. And this reform promotes to working together with others, and also being creative, and also you can also develop your skills like communication skills, and also developing skills. So this is the main. And also this current example, we can see this teachers and that students understand this topic in the very better manner, and also without memorizing. So this is the main point. So thank you so much.
Hello everyone. Firstly, my name is ROZMIN. Today is my topic about the role of education in Victorian age as a depicted in hard time. That is my personal information. Table of content. Charles Dickens in a hard time. Charles Dickens, celebrated as a social critic and a novelist, and use a hard time. In 1854, he published to explore the effect to industrialism and a human value in a society. As he showed the industrialism effect to the education also through characters like Thomas Gradgrind and C.C. Jupe and his daughters also. Dickens highlight the conflict between regarding a system of the thought and the need to imagination and the emphasize. Dickens say that in the hard time, Dickens say the not a not education as a fact, but education also connected as an imagination, empathy, not as a fact. Use your biology or other, but also important, give the important to the imagination. Overview of Victorian age, education and industrialism, class divide, and the rise of compulsory schooling. In the Victorian time, I will see in hard time that that time people focus to the class different. People show that you are upper class, that your education level and your education teachers also give give as a you teach you give a uh, uh, give a instruction give a give to other people's, and then you can connect it as a middle class and the lower class. That time people give as a education lecture, you anybody give your instruction anybody give to the any other work you can do, not to stop, not to argue that why I am learn, why I am doing that. The education theme in hard time, a reflection of the Victorian realities. In a working class education, Dickens highlight the strongly of a working class children like a Bitzer, who were confined to basic literary literacy and the moral lesson. In the Victorian time, people explain that people people show as a teacher described as a strictly and a scary. And in that but today's time, teacher is a friendly and not a punish to student to any mistake. But that time, you mistake you take a small mistake and to punish to hardly. Middle and upper class schooling. The reading a fact-based education model to Thomas Gradgrind critique a Victorian upper class schooling. That time schooling. That time I will see that one article that schooling time is 8 to 5, but uh, teacher, you cannot to questioning a teacher. You can question the teacher, you can punish. You not understand what teachers say, you can punish. Debate education purpose. Dickens engage with a Victorian debate and advocate for the nurturing creativity and the empathy. C.C. Jew contained to the rigid system symbolize the need for a balance comparison to education. In this hard time, you can see C.C. Jew focus to the imagination and creativity, but the teacher try to stop them. Teachers say that you can focus to the fact, not imagination. Industrialism in a class device. In that time, industrialism very important and the very effect to the our education system in Victorian time. Comparison to modern education. That in a hard time you can see that teachers and other members focus to the fact and base, but in the modern time education was the creativity, emotional intelligence and problem solving teacher also help to the student to the give the instruction to the how to your mistake clearly. Rote learning and disturbing in the Victorian time emphasized the strict desire to the rote learning, strict creativity. But in the modern time, creativity, independent, and the including inclusivity to the focus as that time. In today's time, in Victorian time, not any woman learn in a teacher in a school as a he learn but in home, not a school. He but in the today all women come and learn. He choose his he choose the interesting topic of they wish. No, but in the Victorian time, people focus to people tell him that you can learn about them. He in that time, so many people focus that woman can always support as a he marry, not learn. He and learn he as a is that time. He is that time focus as a fact, industrialism, and learn to the biography and not a tell. You can choose the imagination as a writer. You cannot take them. Key theme in hard time that I will also mention that the fact and fancy in the hard time. Mr. Gladrine observed the fact suppressed the creativity and emotional changing with a CC Juke imaginative worldwide. Mechanization of education. Students are metaphysically treated as the impact a visual devoid of individuality. In that school time, in a Victorian time, school also educate as a you can machine, not a human. You can do any other people tell you, not your imagination use. You mentioned that in hard CC show horse imagination, but that time teachers stopped them, not as a horse, just CC imagination. He say that horse is a 2 eyes, 1 leg, 2 leg, 4 leg. That is a fact. Social critic Dickens used the satire to explore the feeling of regained educational and industrial norm. Education philosophy in a hard time. The educational philosophy in a hard time create on utilizing ideas, emphasize the practically and industrial need. Thomas Gradgrind, for example, Thomas Gradgrind strictly focus on a fact, not an imagination. Our creative reflect the industrial edge as a mechanized approach to the education. This aligns with the era's belief in miscible outcome and ignoring individual speaking in emotional development. In a Dickens criticized that Victorian education system. He showed that he in that time education focus to the what you can focus as you can read a book. You can read a book and teachers say in that book you can educate as a book give your information, not not to your imagination use, not you can use your mind. You can use as a book, books information enough. Teacher can book information is enough, not any other. But you can see a hard time CC Jew. He is not focused to the book information. He also focused to the imagination. Dickens' vision for education. In a hard time, Dickens critiqued the educational system by contrastive characters like the Wilde, who represent the mechanical fact-driven approach with a C.C. Juke, who embodies a moral emphasis and imaginative way of learning. Dickens used C.C. as a model for a blank educational, emphasizing emotional development and creativity, which he believe are synthetic for a well-rounded human being. We argues against the right, utilize the focus on a fact, and advocates for education that natural both intellect and imagination. In a conclusion, in a hard time, Dickens critiques the Victorian education system, highlighting its focus on a fact, discipline, and a suppressions of the individuality, which serve industrial need. He controls this with a more holistic approach that value creativity, empathy, and critical thinking. Modern education, unlike a Victorian method, celebrate individuality and foster emotional and intellectual growth. Dickens' portrait underscore the importance of a nurturing and the whole person, not just preparing a workers. The novel advocate for an education system that develop both the mind and the emotion, offering a timeless lesson for today's education reform. Source of information. Thank you. Any question?
Replying in the comment, you also have taken around 14 minutes to make a presentation instead of 8 minutes. Comment, you reply. By the time next gets ready, let me just overview some of the blogs. So this is Tanvi blog. Okay, dark color fonts are there. A little bit larger you need to make. Different color is given, that is good. Okay. The other things which I'm not repeating, the linking now you can identify that you can put references, you can put a link, why this blog is written in reply to what, that all you have to keep in mind. So I don't repeat it for everything. There's lots of space in the side. Both the sides we see that there lots of space. Now that if you want to remove, then you have to go to the themes in the settings. Yeah, I will get themes and then this customize and adjust widths. And here you can adjust the width of your blog so that you can give maximum space to your body part of the blog rather than the empty space on the side. See here also you see that there are lots of empty spaces on both the sides of this blog also. So this you need to expand the width of your text, which you can do by going to the theme and then customize. Then you can see that. Other layout and other things are also there, which if you want to adjust, you can do it from here. In whose blog? I think in this one. ROZMIN, this message is coming. Yeah? So it means that in the settings, you have probably put it this adult content. So warning to blog readers. This button, the first button might be yes. Then this comes. So you have to keep this off. This button, maybe because of this, it may come that this warning comes. And then you say, yes, I wish to continue. Then only you are able to go there. So check that setting. This also good. Some colorful text you have used. You just have to see visibility of the font color. Some colors are not clearly visible. So that you have to see. Normally this yellow color, the text is very difficult to read. Okay, sources also you have given, but you have not adjusted according to MLS style, which we see. So this is where you can try to take help of generative AI and see. Now here I tried to see that convert these sources into MLS style documentation, and then it prepared this list. Nearly true, not perfectly true, but workable. People on a prima facie or a first sight seem that this is a perfect MLS style, but some errors are there. But still, it has done a good work. Within no time, this work, and then, but it is not alphabetically organized. MLS style is alphabetically organized. So another prompt is given: arrange in alphabetical order. So then it has done alphabetical order within a few seconds. And પછી પણ હાજર છે તૈયાર. Let me know if further adjustments are needed. આવી આપણી અપેક્ષા વિદ્યાર્થી પ્રત્યે થાય કે આપણે એને કહેતા જાય કે હજી સાહેબ હજી સારું કેમ કરીને આપીએ. એવી તત્પરતા વિદ્યાર્થીઓમાં હોય કે હવે શું કરવાનું બાકી સારું. તો આ કેટલી સારી રીતે આપણી સામે ઊભું રહે કે તમે કયો એ કરી દઉં, હવે બીજો કાંઈ હુકમો હોય તો કયો. So how we can use generative AI not to do cheating, not to do unethical practice, but helping in saving our time. How the result, we are told you have to do it in this manner. You prepared the list. Now MLS style is not a difficult thing to be converted also. Okay, so this is still a better thing. Good images and the things are put here. Shruti's blog also lots of space which you have to cover up by increasing the width of your blog. Again, the context, you have to give the link there. You've given first line about the context and things. Okay, so a few more things you need to add: images, videos, references there. Okay? Shatakshi's blog is very short. કરવાનું છે તો કરી નાખીએ કે ચાલો. એ રીતે ઘણા લોકો કામ કરતા હોય કે ભાઈ આ ધરાર કરાવે છે તો લાવો કરી નાખીએ. તો એ રીતે ઘણા લોકો બ્લોગ લખતા હોય. So it is like that. એટલે જે નહીં કેપિટલ કરવાની દરકાર નથી કરી. Capitalization in the first names, જે હોવું જોઈએ, that also we have to be very careful. This. So some more seriousness is required, sincerity is required. Work should be taken seriously and proper way. It should be done. Then it will improve if you will take it seriously. If you will not take it seriously, then we have seen in fourth semester also students are doing this kind of work only. એવું રહી જાય છેલ્લે સુધી એમ જ રહે પછી. પણ how you take it seriously or not, that depends on that. Okay, so this were the blogs, another thing. And in the presentation, Shruti did well. ROZMIN also prepared well. In Shruti's presentation, there was one reference to Runer's article, Runer Leroy, Gestor article. You have cited also that this article you have referred to in this. But do you remember about what time this article is talking about?
Yes, sir. It's, I also searched it, current article on education. So it's given that.
But this is 1965 article. This article is a good article, but it is talking about New India, but not this Modi's New India. That was Nehru's New India. જ્યારે જ્યારે નવા વડાપ્રધાન આવ્યા ત્યારે બધા એ જ લોલીપોપ આપણને આપી છે કે હવે નયા ભારત ન્યૂ ઇન્ડિયા એ એટલે વી કેન સી કે નહેરુએ પણ એ સમયે કેવી લોલીપોપ લોકોને આપી હશે કે આ લેખક કેટલા બધા નહેરુના વખાણ કરે છે કે ન્યૂ ઇન્ડિયા ઓફ નહેરુ 1965 અને એજ્યુકેશન કેવું હોવું જોઈએ. બટ ગુડ ટુ રીડ કે ત્યારે કેવી કલ્પનાઓ કરતા હતા, શું કરવું જોઈએ. નાવ આફ્ટર મેની યર્સ it is not contemporary, but still a good article is there. It is, yes, 1965 it is. So in text you need to mention it clearly, educational challenges. The previous slide is speaking about contemporary, and then if you do not mention 1965, then this sounds like it is contemporary. It is not contemporary, it is 1965, though things are still have not changed a lot in India. But it is a good article to read about 1965. Okay, let us start.
MANASI JOSHI, and my today's presentation on paper number 4, Literature of the Victorians. So here is my personal information. So my presentation's topic is Dickens, Hard Times, The Lost Childhood. So in Hard Times, Dickens focused on the criticizing a way of thinking called utilitarianism. So utilitarianism emphasizes on fact, logic, and self-interest over to which elements just like emotions, imagination, and human values. So as a human, we have to take works from the human. So we cannot rely on only factual facts. We have to also take work with our emotions and our humanity. So here I want to talk about fictional art. So in Hard Time, criticize a system that values cold calculations over human emotions and creativity, and this theme is central of the novel. Different social classes. So Gradrin's rigid thinking cause harm. His wife becomes mentally broken, and his children Tom and Louisa have unhappy lives. So his children Tom and Louisa, they're born and brought up with this environment, so they also rely on his father's idea, like he talk about facts, so that children emotions are in confusion, so they cannot attach with humans idea because their father give more emphasis on facts. The labor organizer, Scalbridge, and others represent the potential for kindness and compassion in this class, which Dickens called the philosophy of heart. So here we can say one word, hand. So hand and heart. This is the two sides of one coin. So we will see in our next slide that hand, how bounded we use this word, and human is rely on heart relationship. The upper class. So character like Hathouse and Mr. Spacek belong to this group. They rely on the middle class to maintain their lifestyle, but they don't play a significant role in this message of the novel. But this upper class also rely on the middle class. So in that way, they take high level. So middle class is mandatory for the high class people. So difficult time. During this time, Dickens also suffered from poor health. One of his co-worker, Bob, showed him kindness during a particular painful illness. Bob made a temporary bed for him and used hot water bottles to ease Dickens to pain. So this struggle shaped the way Dickens wrote about childhood in this novel. So often portraying them as a a victim of lost childhood. So we can see from this example, we can say that Dickens also suffered from this type of scenario, from this type of hardship. So Dickens spoken more kindly about his father. He described his father as a kind and generous man who cared for his family and was proud for him. However, his father was not perfect. So at that time, fathers not give importance to their children. They think he will grown up and he will do his own way. So this is mindset of that time of families and parents. So he didn't take responsibility for Dickens' education and seemed to ignore his duty to help his son succeed. So this shows us difficult childhood. Dickens suffered from this childhood. So here I want to talk about parents. What is parents' duty for their children? So critics like Ruskin and Shaw overlook to the biographical elements of the novel, focusing instead of its social message. So these critics not emphasize on Dickens' life with the novel, but they point out social message. So Ruskin believed Dickens' works, especially Hard Times, should be studied for their insight into social issues, while Shaw's perspective for this novel is compared Dickens to other thinkers who critique society and its problems. So like Max and Ruskin, other critics later admired the style and themes of the book. So style and themes also important for the novel. So difficult childhood, as I mentioned earlier, so difficult childhood made more focused on fact and success rather than emotions. So success is the main aim of the life, but emotion is nothing, as we see in this novel. So critics, however, mostly focused on the themes and social criticism in Hard Times, missing the connection to Dickens' own life. So this is the other perspective of critics. So here we can read critics' minds. So this is the in continuation paragraph. So how Charles Dickens also related his childhood with these two Tom and Louis. So here we can not read about character of this novel, but as well we can read writer's thought as well. So here I want to talk about Bounderby's character. So Bounderby brags about rising from poverty, but also tries to act like he is better than others by surrounding himself. So he constantly proves himself as he is the best. So this is also another idea. So simply Dickens sometimes struggle with pride about his success and shame about his poor part. So here Dickens also compare his personal identity with the character Bounderby. So here I also want to talk about Bounderby's mother and Dickens' mother idea. So both Bounderby and Charles Dickens had difficult relationship with their mothers. But here we can meet Bounderby's mother in the last part of the novel. So Bounderby openly criticized his mother, but while Dickens remained silent about his pain. So here I want to talk about working class. Story focus on Stephen Blackpool, a working class man stuck in an unhappy marriage with a drunken wife. Stephen loves another woman who is kind and caring. Stephen also want divorce, but here one character, Bounderby, you are not economical wealthy, so you cannot get divorce. So why middle class and this working class face this type of situation? He have to live with this person which he not like. So this part of the novel is said to mirror Dickens' own personal life, particularly his unhappy marriage and close relation with his sister-in-law. This is the Dickens' life thing. So critics like Jack was exploring his feelings about difficult marriage and whether unhappy couples should have the right to separate. So working class people has also right. They can separate with which they like not person to stay with for a whole life. So this is the another perspective of this novel. So in conclusion, Dickens, his own life marked by struggles and hardship, as we see, often called for more practicality and rationality. It's a fact and hand rather than imagination. So imagination is the fancy idea. So this character, Grand, is not welcoming for the imagination, but he approved this factual idea. Here are my references. Thank you. So question, please.
So, Mansi, my question is for you. What is the relationship between Louisa and Tom in Hard Times?
Okay, so James forced to his daughter Louisa to marry with Bounderby. Why? Because Bounderby was a wealthy man, and through his wealth, Tom also can settle down with his career. So this is the main aim of the marriage. He not give importance what Louisa like and what is her choice. So Louisa and Tom. So Louisa also ready to marry with this person, Bounderby. Why? Because she loves her brother, and she also wants that her brother settle down with a good career and with wealth. So this is the bond, brother and sister. So she not give first priority to his emotion, but he think with fact, like her brother will settle down with a good career.
Which elements we find out?
So, main element is when Bounderby use one word, hand. So, if he takes his work with hand, but if he takes his work with focus with heart, so he can get more better result. So, why he use this ideology? He also not help to his worker to get divorce. He use you are not sufficient person. You cannot get divorce. Why he get not? He is also man. He is also a human. So this type of ideology, upper class and lower class, is I think main element of the novel. So thank you.
We have 6 presentations in book. So be quick. Don't waste much of your time. Within 8 minutes, try to complete your presentation.
So, hello everyone, myself NISHTHA Desai. Today my presentation topic is Themes of Hard Times for This Time. It's a full title. It's a novel written by Charles Dickens, and it was published on 1854. These are my academic information. Here is table of contents. Let's begin with introduction. Literature reflects human life and society in hard times. In 1854, Charles Dickens began writing the novel Hard Times and published it in his weekly periodical Household Word. In the novel, Charles Dickens, we can notice that he reflects the Victorian society of 1854 time. So here in the novel, he depicts the four families like Bounderby's family, the grand family, Stephen's family, and another circus family. So we will notice the what are the situation during the Victorian time of those four families. And here a brief introduction of Charles Dickens. The history of England is emphatically the history of progress. The life of Dickens can be seen to mirror the intellectual patterns of the Victorian age. He started his career as a journalist, and his first success came with sketches by Bose in 1836. The kind of light humorous writing which had been popular for more than a century. Here are a famous novel of Charles Dickens, David Copperfield, published in 1850, Bleak House, 1852, The Pickwick Papers, 1837, Great Expectation, 1861, and A Tale of Two Cities, 1859. A Tale of Two Cities reflect the French Revolution. First is industrialization. Industrialization created a difficult economic and environment condition during the Dickens time. The narrator of Hard Times, Dickens, described the Coke Town. In Victorian era, we notice the beginning of the factories, and so in the novel Hard Times, Dickens described the Coke Town. Coke Town is a city, but in this novel, Dickens described Coke Town as a person. He described the Coke Town is black dust and coal rocks. He described Coke Town as a person, and in those times there are many conditions with workers who works in the factories. They have no time limits, they work a lot, and conflict between workers and their industrial factory owner. Fact versus fancy. It's a second theme. Fact are symbol of something that is unchangeable, and fancy is something that is changeable in people's imagination and mind. Dickens maintained in his novel that fact and fancy must work together so the individual can succeed in life and become healthy human being. In the novel, we can notice that both the fact and fancy. Fact means something truth, something reality, but fancy is our imagination. So Dickens depict both the theme together in this novel. We notice in the beginning scene of the novel when Mr. Grant and Mr. Chokumchild taught their students those things, believes in the fact, not in fancy conditions, not in believe in imagination, and character C.C. Jupe give definition of a horse and wallpapers, and also and then Mr. Grant told her to not believe in fancy things but believe in the fact or reality. So, loss of childhood. Childhood figure most prominently in the novel. It focuses on the three characters' childhood. First is Tom Grant Green, second is Louisa Grant Green, and third one is Sissy Jupe's childhood. So for Louisa, she opened the message of her father and all the things, believe in facts and all. So Louisa, Mr. Grandin said her to marry with Mr. Bounderby. Mr. Bounderby is a person who was high class, but he was age of her father. So there are age difference between the Louisa Grand and Mr. Bounderby. So in the end, we find the loss of childhood because Louisa married with Bounderby. Why? Because life of her brother Tom, and for Tom reflect the irresponsibility in the novel because he thought that her sister Louisa married with Bounderby, so he bankruptcy seen also in the novel. And Sissy Jupe. Sissy Jupe is a circus daughter. She lives in the circus. Sissy Jupe experiences a more balanced childhood and grows up accordingly. She spends her first 7 years in the warm and whimsical environment of circus, well loved by her father and the other performers. She reads fairy tales and plays with her dog. So in those things, Sissy lives in the very nice life, like imaginative life and with emotions. But when she lived with Mr. Grant and his home, she has a conflict between the fact and fancy, and she lost her childhood. In this concept, Dickens also brought about this life, personal life concept, because at the age of 12, Dickens taken out from school and he went to factory for work. So through this character, Dickens also want to say about his life also. Marriage and divorce. Louisa experience illustrate the value of love by showing emphasis on the life lacks such affection. She marries with Mr. Bounderby out of a practical need to help her brother and satisfy her father's wishes. The marriage is loveless from the start and its decline with the time. Louisa is vulnerable to James Harthouse attentions because she is starved for emotional connection. We notice in the character of Louisa the age difference between Louisa and Mr. Bounderby, and not love in their relation, and she fall in love of Mr. Harthouse. So it was condition of marriage, but unhappy marriage during this time because of age difference and some financial conditions of marriage. Stephen Blackpool and Rachel also we point out. Stephen loves Rachel, and they both are works in the factory, so they both love each other, but they work hard because Stephen want to marry with Rachel, and Stephen also married, but his wife was alcoholic, so he want to divorce from his wife, but the condition of class conflict, he has no money, so he not able to give divorce to his wife. So this condition of marriage and divorce during the Dickens time. In the nowadays also the divorce is connect with the condition of reputation. In nowadays we also many are divorced people, so we connect their character with their reputations and their characteristics. To conclusion, in Hard Times by Charles Dickens, the primary themes include the conflict between reason and emotion, the dehumanizing effect of industrialization, and importance of imagination and compassion. And in the that time, Mr. Bounderby used the word hand for their workers. So it also reflects the class conflict during this time, unhappy marriage also, and dehumanization and utilitarianism of those time. These are my reference sources. Thank you. If anyone have question, please ask.
So question is, does Louisa ever oppose Mr. Gradgreen's factual concept, and is she confused about them?
Yes, Louisa Grandgreen was confused sometimes between the emotions and her father concept of belief in the fact. So many times when her marriage time after unhappy marriage, she was confused about those all things, but she never tried to told her father about those also conflict. And also in the novel, we it is divided into three parts. So after those all things, realized his mistake, and but Luisa never opposed of Mr. Grant. Next.
Why does Mr. Bounderby call his workers and
So Mr. Bounderby call his worker as a name of hands because it reflects the factory condition during this time, and it also reflects chopping materialism. And Bounderby think about their work, his worker are their material tools, not any other thing. So he also it reflects the status of Bounderby, and he has the ego of his status. Thank you.
Hello everyone. Today I will be present on the topic the role of education in hard times and its critique of Victorian pedagogy. Here is academic information, table of content, and introduction to hard times and Victorian pedagogy. Hard Times for this time, this novel written by Charles Dickens in 1854. Charles Dickens' Hard Times critique the Industrial Revolution and its influence on Victorian society and education. The novel is set in the fictional Cape Town, symbolizing industrial capitalism and utilitarian values. Victorian pedagogy prioritized factual knowledge, disregarding creativity and emotional development. This is a research question. How does Dickens critique Victorian utilitarian education in hard times, and what are its implications for contemporary pedagogy? Hypothesis: Dickens present Victorian education as dehumanizing and inadequate, advocating for a balanced approach that integrates imagination and emotional intelligence. Victorian pedagogy in hard times. Victorian education aimed to produce obedient workers, emphasizing practicality over individuality. Influenced by utilitarian philosophy, it prioritized factual knowledge and social conformity. Dickens critiqued this mechanistic system through Gradgrind's rigid school model. The utilitarian education system emphasized on utilitarian education emphasized on fact over fancy and fact-based learning, suppressing creativity and critical thought. Thomas Gradgrind philosophy reflects the dehumanizing effect of utilitarian pedagogy. The rigid system reduced individuals to cogs in the industrial machines. Importance of Victorian education on characters. Louisa Grandet, emotionally stunned by fact-based education, struggle with moral and personal choice. While from Grandet, a lack of ethical ground leads to selfless and moral failure. C.C. Jupp, her imaginative upbringing highlight the benefits of a balanced education. Education and the Industrial Revolution. Victorian education mirrored the efficiency-driven industrial economy. Schools become factories of conformity, where industriality and creativity were suppressed. Dickens critiqued the reduction of human being to functional unit of productivity. Dickens' critique, imagination versus fact. Dickens campaigns imagination as vital for emotional and moral growth. Characters like C.C. Jupp embodied holistic education, integrating creativity with practicality. Grandize system, selfish human potential, under crossing the dangers of prioritizing fact over emotions. Social and moral implications. Gradgrind's rigid system creates emotionally void individuals like Louisa and Thomas, unable to connect with others. Dickens critiqued the broader societal impact of industrializations, where dehumanizing and moral decay are rampant. The failure of the system called for a re-evaluation of education as a tool for moral and emotional growth. Relevance of Dickens' critique today. Contemporary debates about standardized education and the overemphasis on STEAM-field echo Dickens' critique. Modern pedagogy should balance academic rigor with emotional intelligence and creativity. Dickens' call for holistic education is increasingly relevant in a global technology-driven world. Conclusion. Dickens' Hard Times offer a time critique of utilitarian education and its societal repressions. The novel advocates for a balanced approach, emphasizing emotional, moral, and intellectual growth. By integrating imagination with practicality, education can foster well-rounded, compassionate individuals. These are the references, and thank you. If anyone has questions, they can ask.
My question is, can the education system in hard times be seen as a metaphor for the dehumanization caused by industrialization?
Yes, in hard times, the education system is shown as a strict and focused only on fact, which takes away the creativity and emotion of the students. These mirror the way industrialization treat workers like machines, where they are seen only for their ability to produce, not for their humanity. This rigid education system led by Mr. Granke turns students into mechanical learner. Uh, just like how factories make people like machines.
Okay, my question is, what lessons can modern educators learn from Dickens' critique of Victorian period?
A modern educator can learn to balance fact with creativity, emotional growth, and moral values. Dickens show the harm of ignoring imagination and feeling in education. A balanced approach can help students grow into well-rounded individuals, not just fact learners. Thank you.
Hello everyone. Today's my topic for presentation is Dehumanized by Facts, a study of utilitarian philosophy in Dickens' hard times. These are my personal information. The main question on which this presentation based is, how does Charles Dickens critique utilitarian philosophy in hard times, and what alternative vision does he propose to address its shortcomings in education and industrialization and human welfare? The hypothesis asserts that Charles Dickens critiques utilitarianism in hard times by illustrating its dehumanizing effects on individuals and society, particularly through rigid education system and industrial labor. He proposes an alternative vision that values empathy, imagination, and individuality as essential to human well-being and moral progress. In introduction, Charles Dickens' Hard Times offers a profound critique of 19th century utilitarian philosophy, challenging its reduction of human lives to mere calculations of happiness and efficiency. Through the grim industrial town of Cocktown and its residents, Dickens highlights the dehumanizing impacts of prioritizing facts over emotions. This presentation delves into these critiques, juxtaposing them against Dickens' proposed vision of a society valuing empathy, imagination, and individuality. What is a utilitarian philosophy? Utilitarianism, a prominent ethical theory, traces its roots to Jeremy Bentham and John Stuart Mill. It emphasizes maximizing happiness for the greatest number of people. Its principles focus on quantifiable outcomes, often treating individuals as interchangeable units. However, Dickens critiques this approach, arguing it oversimplifies human needs and neglects emotional complexity. Utilitarianism in hard times. Gradgreen's education system prioritizes facts over emotions. Workers in Cocktowns are dehumanized as only hands without face. Louisa Gradgreen's struggles highlight the emotional void in utilitarian ethics. These are the examples that Charles Dickens gave us about utilitarianism in his hard times. Dickens challenges the erasure of individuality in pursuit of industrial and societal efficiency. This slide compares two contrasting approaches to education in hard times. Gradgreen's utilitarian school, which emphasizes memorization, logic, and practicality, suppressing imagination and emotional growth, and C.C. Jupe's imaginative world, rooted in empathy, creativity, and storytelling. Great Green System produces students like Bitzer, cold, calculating, and devoid of compassion, while C.C. represents Dickens' ideal of warmth, individuality, and emotional awareness. Through this contrast, Dickens critiques the dehumanizing effects of fact-based education and advocates for a balanced system that nurtures creativity and humanity alongside knowledge. Cocktown, a triumph of fact or dehumanization. A triumph of fact. Cocktown is described as triumph of fact without uniform street, with uniform streets, monotonous lives, and a lack of beauty or individuality. Pollution. The town's industrial pollution mirrors the moral decay caused by the utilitarian worldview. The air, water, and even the people are tainted by the relentless focus on production. Workers as hands. The workers in Cocktown are reduced to hands, mere tools of production. Their individuality, emotions, and dreams are sacrificed for the sake of the factory's efficiency. Characters as symbols of utilitarian philosophy. Thomas Gradgrind represents the rigid adherence to facts and logic. His harshness and lack of empathy eventually lead him to question his philosophy. Josiah Bounderby embodies the hypocrisy of industrial utilitarianism. His focus on wealth and status masks his lack of compassion for the working class. C.C. Jupe represents the alternative to utilitarianism. Her warmth, compassion, and imagination demonstrate the importance of balancing facts with emotions. Louisa Gradgrind is a tragic victim of a utilitarian upbringing. She suffers from emotional turmoil and alienation, yearning for a life beyond the cold calculation of her father's philosophy. Dickens' criticism of utilitarian philosophy. These lines are from the novel A Triumph of Fact. It had no taint of fancy in it. Every day was the same as yesterday and tomorrow. Dehumanization, workers treated as faceless hands. As we see, the character tries to appoint to a lawyer for his divorce with her wife. He was treated by Bounderby that he cannot appoint any lawyer as he is a worker, and they do not have they don't need to have any feelings or do any things like divorcing and marriage with that, and they only are made for working. Alienation. Individuals detached from their labor and themselves, echoing Marxist critics. Moral failures. Emphasis on results ignores ethical and emotional well-being. Dickens' vision of a balanced world. Imagination. Dickens advocates for the importance of imagination, empathy, and individuality in a meaningful life. He suggests that a balance between facts and fancy is essential for a just and compassionate society. C.C. Jupe embodies this ideal, demonstrating the power of empathy and compassion. She represents the importance of nurturing creativity and emotional intelligence, qualities often suppressed by utilitarian thinking. Dickens emphasizes the need to recognize and celebrate the unique qualities of each individual rather than reducing them to mere cogs in a machine. Conclusion. In conclusion, Hard Times critiques utilitarianism's dehumanizing aspects in education and industrial systems. Dickens' timeless message emphasizes balancing efficiency with empathy, and encourages us to re-evaluate how we measure societal progress. His vision challenges us to prioritize human welfare over rigid calculations. So these are my references, and thank you. You can ask.
The next one can be ready by the time I share a few things of last 4 presenters. So, so far as the presentations are concerned, slides are by and large good content, textual content is good in this, but you should make the combination of text plus image in the slide. That many of you are not doing. So that is necessary, that you have to always have the combination of an image and the text and a decent design. According to your theme, you have to think of the design. Being a student of literature, you know the symbolic significance of color combination and the theme that you are talking about, or the design and the thing that also you have to take care of. Reading and speaking is that also those who are not speaking and only reading, they need to take care of. Some of you are already presenting well. Application of idea to something, that is very important. That only reading or what is there, but how you analyze that, how you critically look at that. For example, when you look at this utilitarian and education purpose and you criticize that, at the same time you also have to question that how Dickens is looking about emotional intelligence or emotional aspect of education is that he is ready to support a criminal, because the criminal is son, criminal is brother. So if that is how we are going to look, that my family member, so I should be emotionally attached, my friend, so I am emotionally attached, so let me do wrong thing. So is that the ethical standard that you want to support? The way Tom is supported by Cecilia Jupe, the circus people, they are not telling that let him be punished. When he will come out of the jail, we will be there to take care of him, we will shape his career, but he should undergo punishment. He has done wrong, the punishment should be there. That is not the answer of Dickens. So that is the very interesting point that you can criticize that. So how you critically apply your analyzing ability, that is lacking. And question answers also, how you answer the question in detail, that we also have to see. Well, looking at the blogs, this also is not proper. You don't have to just write this title. Your blog title should be about your work. Your URL also is telling that mansi.joshi11.blogspot.com/2024-11, that is the month. Then Dilip sir's blog.html. That is not, it should be about hard times. So whatever title you will select, that will be the title, and that is how it will be searchable. When people will look for hard times, this URL should go. So the title, the URL also you have to be very careful of. So this is very basic and fundamental, that how you put a title of the blog. And the other thing also, you need to take lots of care. This is not a proper blog. Lots of things, image is not there, video is not there, embedding is not there, references are not proper, hyperlink is not there. So many things are missing out in this. Maybe when in the workshop you might be absent, when things were told that how to prepare a blog, and some ideas might have been shared in the workshop. So sometimes we think that, well, I know how to do blog, but there are important points which if we listen somebody, then we become conscious of, and then the output is also quite different than the other people. So this you need to take a lots of care about how to prepare a decent, professional, academic looking blog. NISHTHA also has given images and other things. Yes, it is well organized. Something about references you need to put there, and other design and other work also which is lacking, that you have to take care of. The link needs to be given here also. Rutvi's blog link is given in the beginning part with a small paragraph, okay? So the context is clear. The fonts are also large enough. This is a good size of the font, readable for everybody on various platforms. So that way you can also think of increasing the size of the font. Okay, underline and this bold is given in a setting also to the paragraph titles. Okay, some references, other things are lacking. The size also you need to increase. The width you need to increase, because lots of bookshelf occupying the larger space of the blog. SHRUTI has given the first line and a link here, okay, to visit the teacher's blog, and the title. So dark color needs to be given instead of gray color to this, and font size needs to be improved, increased, and the references are also given according to MLA in this. A few more images and video needs to be embedded in this. Okay, let us move on now. Okay.
Good evening, everyone. Today I am going to discuss Marxist elements in hard times. Personal information, table of contents, introduction of author. He was born on February 7, 1812, and he was also known as Charles John Huffam Dickens. He was English novelist. He was passed away on June 9, 1870. Hard Times was written in 1854 as a critique of industrial capitalism and its social consequence. Charles Dickens observed the harsh realities of industrial towns and reflected them in his work. The novel portrays the struggle of the working class against the dehumanizing effect and industrialization and laissez-faire capitalism. So, what is Marxism? It is a socio-economic and political theory developed by Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels in the mid-19th century. It consists of three main elements: a materialistic concept of history, a critique of capitalism, and a vision for a future communist society. Marxism views history as a series of class struggle where the ruling class exploits the working class. Marx critique capitalism for creating systematic inequalities, argues that it alienates workers from their labors and products they create. He believed that capitalism would eventually be overthrown by the proletariat and leading to a classist communist society where the means of production are commonly owned by operated for the benefit of all. The Industrial Revolution and Victorian context. Industrial Revolution led to class division, bourgeoisie, which are known as capitalists, and proletariats as workers. Rise of factories diminished individuality, treating workers as mere hands. Dickens paints Coketown as a grim industrial city filled with interminable smoke and monotonous factories. It symbolizes the degradation of both the environment and humanity due to industrialization. In the novel, we can see that the uniform red brick buildings, identical in structure and purpose, represents the mechanical and dehumanizing nature of industrial capitalism. Class struggle. Coketown, symbol of industrial capitalism, smoky, monotonous, and oppressive. The working class, represented by Stephen Blackpool, who embodies the struggle of the proletariat, poverty, alienation, and lack of rights. Stephen appeals to his employer Bounderby to seek a solution for his miserable marriage. Bounderby dismisses him and mocking him and declaring that poor people are responsible for their own misery. This illustrates the exploitation of lack of empathy, the Bounderby show towards the Stephen. When also we can see that when Stephen refused to join workers union, believing that it will create more conflict, his fellow workers expel him from there. This even highlights the complexities of class struggle, showing that even within the proletariat, unity can be difficult to achieve. Critique of utilitarianism, a philosophy emphasizing the greatest happiness of the greatest number, often used to justify exploitation. Mr. Gradgrind embodies utilitarian principle, valuing facts over the emotion and individuality. Dickens critiques how utilitarianism serve the interest of the ruling class while ignoring the needs of worker. Gradgrind humiliates CC, a circus performance daughter, for not being able to define a horse scientifically. Meanwhile, Bitzer, a model student, provides a cold, factual description of horse. These critics the utilitarian emphasis on facts over individuality and emotional intelligence. Louisa, raised under Gradgrind's utilitarian principle, marries with Bounderby out of duty for not her love. Her emotional detachment and unhappiness illustrate the failure of utilitarianism in fostering personal fulfillment. Alienation and exploitation. Alienation of labor workers like Stephen Blackpool are disconnected from the fruits of their labor, reduced to cogs in a machine. Children and adults alike are overworked in harsh factory conditions with the little regard for their well-being. Bounderby dismisses labor grievances, perpetuation the inequality, and dehumanizing the work of the working class. Stephen described his daily life in a factory as a muddle, reflecting the alienation and lack of purpose felt by worker under industrial capitalism. This mirrors Marx's theory alienation, where workers are disconnected from the products of their labor and reduced to mere tools. Dickens described the children of Croketown as prematurely aged by factory work. This represent of labor, especially of vulnerable groups like children under unchecked industrial capitalism. Stephen Blackpool as the Marxist symbol. He represents the oppressed working class, hardworking but powerless, rejected by both bourgeois, which is Bounderby, and his fellow workers, union leaders. His tragic fate highlights the injustice and hopelessness of the proletariat under capitalism. Despite his honest and hardworking nature, Stephen is trapped in a marriage with an abusive alcoholic wife. A divorce is inaccessible to the working class. This event symbolizes the lack of autonomy and justice afforded to proletariat under Victorian laws. After being falsely accused to theft and expelled by society, Stephen dies tragically in a shaft mine. His death is a powerful metaphor for the exploitation and abandonment of the working class in capitalist societies. Dickens' critique of capitalism. Dickens exposes the greed of industrialists who prioritize profit over humanity. Criticism of laissez-faire economics, lack of government intervention leads to exploitation. Hard times call for a moral responsibility and social reform, aligning with Marxist ideal of equality and injustice. Bounderby claims to have risen from poverty through hard work, but it is revealed that his mother provided him with a comfortable upbringing. This exposes the hypocrisy of capitalists who promote the myth of meritocracy to justify their exploitations of the working class. The monotonous, polluted environment of Coketown reflect how capitalism erased individually and prioritize profit over well-being. In conclusion, Marxist elements in hard times are evident in Dickens' depiction of class consciousness, alienation, and the exploitation of labor. While Dickens does not advocate for a Marxist uprising, his narrative sympathizes with the working class and critiques that moral and social failings of industrial capitalism. This reflects Marx's belief in the need for workers to recognize their own oppression and act collectively to achieve justice. These are my references. Thank you. If anyone have a question,
reply in the comment.
thank you.
Nikita, you have not submitted in Google Class. So, Nirali, you can. SHATAKSHI also, you have posted the link, now again you have to submit it. You will be receiving your task. Hard times low. You all check your Google app, Google Class app, which is missing task. Upgrade them.
Hello everyone, I am Nirali Vagale. Today I am going to present Thomas Hardy as a Victorian novelist. These are my academic information, table of contents, introduction. Thomas Hardy was born on 2 June 1814. He was an English novelist and a poet who set much of his work in Wessex. His name for the counties of southwest England. Time changed everything except something within us, which is always surprised by change. This line was given by Thomas Hardy. Early life. As a 9-year-old boy, he was sent to study in Dorchester to parochial school. As a shy and unsociable boy, he read a lot in school and outdoors. After graduation, Hardy continued his studies as an assistant to an architect. In 1862, the future poet received an architecture degree at King's College, London. Thomas Hardy was belonging to a working class. His father is stonemason, and his mother support and encourage him to study. And he is isolated in his early life. Famous novels of his, The Return of the Native, is published in 1878. This was about the men, and the theme of this is fate and love. The Mayor of Casterbridge this was published in 1886. This novel is about the Michael Henchard. He was the mayor in Casterbridge, but in his past, He was drunken man and sell his wife and child, and that past affect his present and ruined his life. Test and the third test of the Uberville is published in 1891. And this novel is about the young woman in his tragic story that how he is ruined by one person, and the Jude the Obscure is published in 1895, and this novel is about the Jude, the man who wants to achieve dream as education. Theme of his novel is fate and determination. In this, how fate affect the hard work of his character is mentioned. Nature and the rural landscape. He also belonged to a rural landscape that affect how he had this theme in his novels. Critique of society and a class there. That how Thomas Hardy criticized Victorian society is also one of them. Love, desire, and tragedy. This we can see in Jude the Obscure and Isolation and Aliveness. This theme is included in Tales of the Iberville, Religion and Morality. He also criticized religion and morality. Woman in his novels. The Mayor of Casterbridge, Hardy's eighth published novel, deals with the fact of inhuman treatment of women by society. The major woman character in the novel, Susanna Hansard, Elizabeth Jane, and Lucita Templar. Women are all the victims of the patriarchal ideology represented by Hansard. Continue. In Jude the Obscure, Hardy challenged the Victorian code of marriage through Sue Bradett, a highly intellectual, emancipated woman. She rebelled against the prevailing concept of marriage, love, and matrimony. Psychological depth. Thomas Hardy's novels explore deep psychological struggle with characters torn between personal desire and societal pressure. Their emotional complexity and inner conflict, as seen in Tales of the Republic and Jude the Obscure, highlight themes of guilt, fate, and extreme despair, adding profound realism to his works. Conclusion. Thomas Hardy's novels blend realism, psychological depth, and social critique, offering timeless exploration of human struggles with fate, love, and societal constraints. These are my reference. Thank you, KRISHNA.
We have so many slides, so you have to cut down the things. All slides are full with lots of text. So if you look at everything, it will be 7 o'clock.
Hello everyone, this is Smita Chambucha and I will be presentation on a complex shoe-braided, a complex character in Jude the Obscure. These are my academic information, table of contents, introduction. Shoe-braided, a revolutionary character. Shoe-braided is one of the most unique and unconventional character in Victorian literature. She challenges the strict rule of her time and represent ideas that were bold and controversial in the late 19th century. Shu's modern views on marriage, religious, and gender roles set her apart as a woman fighting for independence in a society that demanded conformity. She questions traditional marriage, rejects organized religious control, and seeks equality in relationship. Shoe-braided is a symbol of the difficulties faced by people striving for freedom and self-expression. In a world resistant to change, her story encourages reader to think about the ongoing conflicts. Characteristic of Subversion. First, intellectual and independent. Shu is well educated and thoughtful woman, often challenging traditional views. She values her autonomy in both personal and social matters, seeking to live life on her own terms. Emotionally ambivalent. She struggled to reconcile her desire with the exploration placed on her by society. Then spiritually skeptical. She questioned the role of organized religion and influence it has on morality. Then progressive yet constant. Despite advocating for conventional relationship and progressive ideas, Shu ultimately constrained by social pressures. Shu's relationship with Jude. Also, we know relationship between Shu and Jude were bond like strong. Shu and Jude share a strong bond based on intellectual and emotional understanding. They are deeply connected through their shared ideals, thoughts, and dreams. Unlike most relationships of their time, theirs is not based on societal rules but on mutual respect and companionship. Shu, however, resists traditional marriage because she does not believe in necessity or the resistance it imposes. Instead of marrying, she chooses to live with Jude, defying the norms of Victorian society. Shu's relationship with Jude is both beautiful and tragic. It highlights her desire for freedom and connection, but also her inability to fully escape the expectation and norms of her time. Shu's role in the novel. Shu Brided plays a crucial role in Jude the Obscure, representing both hope for change and the struggles of challenging societal norms. Symbol of modernity. Shu represent new progressive ideas about love, equality, and intellectual freedom. Conflict with Victorian norms. Shu openly defies the rigid social rules of Victorian era, particularly about marriage and morality. However, the pressure of conform proves too strong. Agent of tragedy. Shu's choice deeply affected the story's tragic events. Her decisions, such as Philotson living with Jude and later returning to Philotson, create turmoil for both her Jude. The most heartbreaking moment is when her action indirectly lead to tragic fate of their children. Themes through Subversion. Shu's character and the border challenges of their time. Gender roles and feminism. Shu challenges the traditional role assigned to women, especially regarding marriage and societal expectation. She believes in women's independence and seeks to break free from these roles. Marriage and morality. Shu questioned the idea of traditional marriage and what there it is truly necessary. She rejects the social ideas that marriage is the only expectable way to live and tries to define her relationship on her own terms. Faith and doubt. Shu's uncertainty about religion reflect the border cultural shift in Victorian England, where many people began to question organized faith. She struggled between faith and reason, unsure of how to reconcile her intellectual belief with her spiritual doubt. Critical interpretation of Shoe-Brided, feminist readings. Shoe is seen as a proto-feminist as she challenges the reflective gender norms of her time. Psychological view. Some critics view Shu's emotionally struggle as a result of the repressive social expectation placed on her. Symbol of modern woman. Shoe represents the challenges faced by women in hardest time who sought independence and self-expression. Her character reflects the difficulties many women face when trying to live outside in traditional roles set by society. Legacy of Shoe-Brided, criticized in hardest time. When the novel was first published, Shoe was seen by many as unnatural because of her defiance of traditional gender role as and her unconventional views on marriage. Celebrated today for her complexity. In modern times, however, Shoe is recognized as a complex and groundbreaking characters. Influence on later literature. Shu's character has influenced many later portrayals of women in literature, particularly those who wrestle with modernity and the quest for autonomy. Shoe-Brided and social expectation. Victorian society rules. Society expected women to marry, be moral and stay submissive. Shoe defies these rules but faces severe consequences. Pressure to fit in. Even with her modern views, she eventually returned to Philosophy, giving in the societal expectation. Symbol of change. Shu's story shows the clash between old tradition and new ideas about women and independence. In conclusion, Shoe-Brided is a symbol of the conflict between personal freedom and societal pressure in Jude the Obscure. She challenges traditional views on marriage, gender roles, and religion, seeking independence but becoming trapped by society expectation. Her relationship with Jude and eventual return to Philosophy showed the limitation placed on women in the 19th century, highlighting how societal pressure can lead to tragic outcomes. Criticized in her time, Shue is now celebrated for her complexity and seen as an early feminist figure. Her story explored the cost of defying norms, the clash between modernity and tradition, and the struggle for gender equality, making her a timeless character who challenges still resonate today. These are my references, and thank you. So, if
Questions you will be given the comment, reply in the comment. Concluding remarks for tomorrow, your sessions will be taken by moderators. We are taking last 10 for this semester. Now we will be in second semester. This is giving your exams. Then we have our regular classes afterwards. So last 3 students' blogs also need lots of changes as we have suggested. This is Swati Chaudhary. So we also all the suggestions which are given, dark color, larger font, then all you need to edit. This will Nirali also initial paragraph, link, context in which it is written, and this. So this also very clearly reflects it is taken from generative AI. So some of the markers you have to be smart enough to see that you are not caught by anybody. That much smartness is required when you use artificial intelligence. So use the content but modify according to your need, and then work on that. This is Nita's blog. Still, the editing is good. Some dark letters, some paragraph formation. It's still better, but many other things are required to be completed. Finally, this presentation I would like to share very briefly for 5 minutes is that why this presentation, what is the objectives of this presentation and what is expected as learning outcome when we do these presentations. We also want to see the difference between assessment and evaluation. And according to this Bloom's taxonomy, how we try to master higher thinking along with digital skills also. So when you do live streaming, you are acquiring lots of digital skills. When you see the camera setting of this digital, how with the help of remote it is adjusted. So even if you are observing, then also somewhere you are learning that how all these things can be managed. How this is a conference setting, a video conference setting, video conference camera on both the sides. So that all setup also you get acquainted to when you do live streaming, live presentation. That also you are learning. Those who are managing the thing, they learn more than those who are only observing. So those who are observing, they should have a curiosity to know that what are the things, how it happens, and more of digital skills can be enhanced. But in Bloom's taxonomy, we also want to see that how higher order thinking can be developed through presentations. First of all, assessment and evaluation. When you give your university exams, you are given mark sheet. You are not given answer papers, but just marks, and that gives a kind of a level that you are A grade student, B grade, you are distinction, you are first class. That level, that is called evaluation. There is a kind of a judgment given. So university's assessment is like that. It is not as evaluation. What we do in presentation is assessment. And assessment is for increasing the quality. Here we don't want to say that this is the best and this is the worst, but everybody has a chance to increase the quality. Everybody has to compete with themselves. Wherever you are today, you might be better than somebody sitting near you. But you don't have to compete with somebody sitting near you. You have to compete with yourself. You have to see that how you increase your capacity and how you enhance that ability. So that is assessment. Assessment is nurturing, it is increasing the quality, and university exams are giving a judgment that you are a first class student or you are a second class student. Why you are there, what you can do that you can become from second class to first class, nobody tells. Nobody ever tells. But here we can tell you that if you do this, this will happen. This way you need to improve. So that is a part of assessment that we take care of. This is Bloom's taxonomy, this pyramidal structure from remember to create. So the basic is memory. Remember, that is memory. And right from many years now in education, the role of memory is decreasing. But still in our traditional education system, we are not able to come out from the memory idea. That's how we have this Rote learning system. That in 11th, 12th standard in both exams, people just Rote it. They go there and vomit, like they carry everything in there. They don't allow them to learning to be digested. But they just carry in the throat and then they vomit. The better vomiter gets better percentage. At the top, they remain because they vomited. That is the Rote learning. Nothing has gone inside the stomach. Nothing has digested. Nothing has become a blood that is flowing in the veins, in the brains. That has not happened. That is memory one. Presentation allows you to reach until create. When you create presentation with good design, good connecting points and other things, then you are at the top. This top is known as HOT, HOTS, higher order thinking. When you can remember things better, you are lower order thinkers. Your memory may be sharp, but your thinking capacity is very low. So you are known as LOTS, LOTS. There are not many people in LOTS, but HOTS are very few. And so this HOT is what this pyramid tells that education system should take people to this level, they have to climb it. So how you understand things, how you apply that, analyze it, that all gets reflected when you connect with something outside, when you apply your learning. If you only talk about that content only, then we can't judge whether you have understood it properly, whether you can apply it or not, whether you can analyze it, evaluate it, and then create. That is possible only when you compare that with another one. You apply that idea on something else, or you do analysis of it. Critically, you try to look at those things. Then only it is possible. So those who just present the content as it is, we remain only at the lower level, at the most understanding level, the lower two only. Remember and understand. Application happens when you try to read another film, another text, or you try to read contemporary society. Then how you are analyzing that? Then, are you up to the mark you are able to analyze, or there is some gap remaining in that? How you evaluate that kind of process that you are doing, and how everything is presented in the slide that you have created. That way we tend to see that. So this is how we keep on moving on into this ladder for applying, analyzing, and moving to see, evaluating, and create how finally students can showcase their creativity by designing visually appealing slides. Visually appealing slides, the combination of your subject content with the color, with the font, with the design, with the pictures. Everything is in tune with everything. As we have seen that if there is Browning and computers, then there is a huge mismatch. It's not a proper designing of a slide also. So appealing slides incorporating multimedia elements, pictures, visuals, GIFs, and presenting their ideas in innovative ways. They may also propose new solutions, generate original ideas, which is still we are learning. Maybe in second semester we will be able to do, or maybe in the third one, how you can generate new ideas in conclusion. When you conclude something new, something unique, something your own, you are proposing in conclusion. Or developing unique insights during the presentation process, that we also have to see. And this is connecting dots. All knowledge is created with the help of connecting the dots. In this famous video, Steve Jobs, when he addressed to the Stanford University in 2005, he talked about this idea about connecting dots. The knowledge is created when people connect the dots. Because Earth is Earth for billions of years. Moon is there for billions of years. So everything is there as it. People are there, like if you read Ramayana and we see today's people, they are one and the same. There is no change. If we read classical literature or Greeks or Chinese, anything, we find the same kind of people are living today also. Then what is the need of writing new literature? Knowledge is already there, why would we do? And yet what is new knowledge? How new knowledge is created? So the same thing is seen with a new insight. The same thing is connected with new dots. And then the creativity comes. So knowledge creation is all about connecting the dots in a new manner. The same dots are there, but another person will connect in a different manner. And remember, these all things were taught to us when we were in schools. There were 1, 2, 3, 4 were written. If you remember, you have done this kind of activity, then you were connecting 1, 2, 3. When we grow adult, 1, 2, 3, 4 is not visible. Now you can connect any dot with anything. Now you are free to connect any dot with anything. Just you have to see whether your insight is coming out. Insight is this tubelight or the that Jatkaro finds it. कोई dots ना dots से तो wisdom भी connect करे सको. And it all depends upon your creativity. When we are children, 1, 2, 3, 4 is visible. When we grow, no 1, 2, 3. You can connect anything with anything, but you can create something new. That is the creation of knowledge. That is the objective that presentations of the thing allow you to go outside your syllabus, see contemporary society and try to bring out some better idea. So in this video is worth watching. If you have not watched, it is recommended strongly that you Google it out, find Steve Jobs Stanford video and watch it for 15 minutes. You will find very interesting ideas that he is sharing in this work. So we see that learning outcome finally, what are supposed to be the key takeaways, what we expect that at the end of 5 days of presentations, what you might be having. For example, enhanced understanding. Students will deepen their understanding of the topic by researching, synthesizing, and presenting information in a clear and coherent manner. So when you are working overnight, looking for chapter articles, and synthesizing everything together and presenting, your understanding is enhanced of this particular topic. Maybe The topics which you have presented, you will never forget. Anytime anybody is asking to you, you will be able to speak something on that topic. If you have synthesized, if you have done that Tagara Paula kind of thing, AI Mati Tagaru Varigan, PPT Manaiku, to kind of thing, under can do it. Bar future. Then nothing. But if you have synthesized, then you will never forget this topic that you have done. Critical thinking skills, through analyzing and evaluating different aspects of the topic, students will develop critical thinking skills. But still, we are not able to see among many of you this part. Maybe in the next semester, we hope that we will be able to see critical thinking skills also. Communication skills happen. You might have, many of you might never have spoken this much of English in your lifetime. 25, 30 or 40, 50 minutes of English that you have spoken. Throughout the last 20 years, you might have not have spoken. That much English you might have spoken. So communication skills also develop your ability to speak in English, which we know that to learn a language, you have to speak in language. There is no other way that you can take some tablets or pills and you learn language. That never happens. You have to speak to learn. And that a creative expression, many of you prepared very good slides, so that way it gets reflected that your research skills, and those who are working for articles and looking for various things, you now know where is quality resources. When you bring it from some study material set, we tell that this is not good. So your understanding develops that this is not good, this is good, this article is good, that is appreciated. This resource is not appreciated. So that way your research skills are enhanced when that feedback is given to the learners. And collaboration. Well, many of you might have to take help of each other. So we help each other. We learn to see that we have to collaborate, and that's how we learn other things. So these are learning outcomes, key takeaways, which we hope might be your key takeaways. Now it depends upon you that whether these things have happened or not. So this is assessment. This is not the final judgment. We always keep on improving from each and every season of presentations, and we want to see that the entire class is at the top of the pyramid. We all become higher order thinkers on this Bloom's taxonomy. That is what is expected from this presentation. Okay, so with this, we end our today's session and then we end the stream. So best wishes for tomorrow's last